Good morning, everyone. How are you? It's Friday. Today is Friday. Today's Friday, July 11th. My goodness. Since we're at the point now with just how summer laying out where I only talk to you guys once a week, it feels like I've got so much to go over by the time I get here. But let's go ahead and do our hellos first. So let's see. Durbin, good morning. Kim, good morning. Paula, good morning. Let's see, Shannon, hello. Miss Scones, hello. Hidden Jones, welcome. Let's see, Kara, hello. Cece, hello. Chrissy, good morning. Let's see, Linda, good morning. Okay, I think I got everyone. That's nice, a nice little short one. All right, so let's see. Updates. We have a ton of squares to go through. Speaking of squares, well, actually, you know what? Let's just do the squares first. Let's do the squares first, because that's where my brain went first. So, first of all, before we lay out everybody's updated gems and everything, I was going to add an image so that you guys can see it. Hang on one second. Trying to find, why isn't it? Oh, there we go. Hold on. Trying to find an image. There we go, image. Okay, so we're gonna add an image here. If you missed it, this. If you missed it, I have the final layout for the quilt, for the community quilt that we have been working on. And I'm actually really glad I did, because I went back and actually counted how many purple squares I have left. And yeah, there it is. I was trying to figure out what pattern to do, and I actually have, I didn't realize it, I have fewer purple squares than I do the green squares. So I was like, okay, well, I need to lay it out. And if you can see, we've got these textured ones in between. These ones have always been kind of like the filler squares. So I have a pattern picked, which means that our colors are numbered. If I remember correctly, we have, I want to say there's like 14 squares left. I could be wrong. When you go to the loyalty store, and if you go to the square sections, there was a bird that just hovered in front of my window. It was like a little finch just hovering there, flying. That was the most random thing. Anyway, it'll say when you redeem a square how many are left of that. I'm manually changing that, so if we have 5 redeemed during the stream, then that may not necessarily be the accurate number. Hi Ella, welcome. All right, so let's go ahead. Now that you can see we have got our final layout, that means that I have the final number of squares. So yeah, we have a few left. It'll still get there, and I have set aside stuff to make a square for Steve and little Emily and little Steve. They already picked their charms and everything. But we do have updates. So Alex was one of our giveaway winners from last time. Sorry, I'm trying to unclick here. Giveaway winners from last time. So if I remember correctly, we had the music and was it the butterfly? I'm trying to remember, but you'll see it. Yeah, there's Alexandra right there. So this is Alexandra's. I did a lot of them this week. So if I don't remember exactly which ones are your new ones, it's because I was doing it literally all week trying to get caught up. And then we have Angela, which was another of our winners. And we have the little mushroom bunny and the little vintage one. Little Emily snagged the last vintage one. She was like, this is so pretty. Jeanette was a manual redemption, which got me thinking, because there were a couple of you that kind of have, maybe it's not working on your computer or whatever else. So because we're getting to kind of the end where we're going to be running out of squares. And so if you have a lot of points, but you aren't sure how to redeem them, or for whatever reason it's not working, we are getting close enough to the end that if you have the points and you want a square, I want you to be able to have them. So if you're watching this now or you're watching it back and you're like, I've got all these points, but for whatever reason it's not working for me or whatever, message me and I will manually redeem for you. That is what we did for Jeanette. So if you cannot redeem yours, let me know and we will get it squared away. But this is Jeanette. She has the pearl bunny, the white kitty with Safi. No, it's hard to see. You can see it in person. I need to find my black Sharpie. With Safi on the back, the tassel, and the I heart my dog. So that is Jeanette's. Now we have Lisa. Lisa's, hi Marilyn. Right, it was so pretty. Lisa's will be different from everyone else's. And the reason being, if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, she will be the only one. Oh, can you count your charms, please? Yes, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have 6, so you have room for 2 more charms. So Lisa was one of our giveaway winners, and she won 2 charms. And obviously we didn't have a new square to put it on, but her charms were small enough I was able to fit them in, but Lisa's will be unique in that sense. So you get to be the 9 holder. And then we have Catherine's that we got all redeemed. The longer the name, the less the less I can do more of the loopy font, because I just run out of room. So I have to make sure I'm giving myself an inch on all sides. And the max, I try to keep the names around 3 inches wide. After that, there just won't be room for it, because I definitely don't want anyone's name to disappear in the seams when it gets put together. And that's the other reason that the quilt is shaped the way that it is, because, and we'll pop it over here. Callie, good morning. Did you see your square? I just you have 9. You'll be the only one with 9, and I love it. So right now we have our community quilt up here, but when we're done, this will all come down. I'm realizing this is tilted over just a little bit. There we go. Anyway, when it's all done, this board will come down and the quilt is going to go up there, which is why we did it at kind of a landscape, so that it will all fit up there. So that is the plan with that one. Okay. You want to know a funny thing? And I'm going to go with Yanamta. I have been practicing your name all week. I had it on a sticky note. Here, get rid of this. And I had it next to my computer. And the amount of times I repeated, I was like, I want to get this right. And the thing of it is I went into Google and I had them like pronounce it for me, but there were like 3 different versions. So I'm going with Yanamta, because I know that with the tilde over with the A, it's not going to be ah. So if I'm horribly wrong, please yell at me. But no joke, I've just been saying your name to myself all week. I'm like, I want to get it right. So there you go. You got that weird person in Texas that practiced saying your name. I'm so glad you're here. It makes it all worth it. Anyway, I'm trying to unclick this thing. There you go. Sorry. And it's hard when you see it like, in writing, but I just wanted to get it right. I don't want to butcher it. We have Britt. Britt is our official second square. Oh, you can't see it, but she's right there. That's Britt's first one, but we now have enough for a second one. So I went with a different font this time, so it's not identical. So there's Britt. And then we have Allison. We have the little kitty out on which, Allison, if you're watching this back, or if you're here now, if there's a name you want me to put on the back of your kitty charm, I totally can. And then we have, most of you recognize, thankfully, no, Kara. I had a couple people message me actually, because all of that happened about an hour to an hour and a half. Kenny, hi! About an hour to an hour and a half away from us. We know people who have people that were affected by it. And in town, there were, the other day, I don't even know if they're doing it all week, there's a bunch of restaurants that are running fundraisers for them. So we went and got food out to you. We don't usually eat out all that often. It's only once or twice a week. But we did an extra one because all the proceeds from the meals bought on that specific day, we'll get back to it in a second, because this was actually like, it's been really big news around here. If you are not from the area or are out of the country, there is a little town called Kerrville, and it wasn't just Kerrville. Kerrville was like the first one that kind of got mega hit, and CNN and like everybody was reporting it. But there were some other surrounding towns. But essentially what it is the way Kerrville works, because we have a river running through our town, but it's just one single one. Because I was talking to Steve about it, and I was just like, this is really close. Like, do we need to worry about? But the way that it works is the Guadalupe River, and yes, it's Guadalupe, not Guadalupe, but the Guadalupe River has 2 smaller rivers that run into it. So basically, we had an immense amount of rainfall, especially over there, in a very short period of time. and those rivers filled. But what happens when you have more than one water source at this huge amount that's running into one river? Well, what just happened is what happened. They are still, as horrible and as sad as it sounds, they are in, it has moved to recovery and not rescue anymore. But you're welcome to Google it. I don't want to bring anybody down or anything, but you're welcome to Google it. It was incredibly tragic. There were a lot of casualties anyway, but the point is, so because we are so close, there's a lot of businesses that got involved, and so there's so many fundraisers happening, and so that is what was going on. But yeah, I had a couple of people message us, but we are far enough away. The way that our river works is that, one, we are far enough away from it that it wouldn't be a risk for us. But two, there's a floodplain between us and them, which essentially, were that to happen with our river, it would all go there and it wouldn't come to us. But anyway, yeah, it was really big news where we're at because it was so close. I even had our friends who, based in Korea, they messaged me and they're like, hey, we heard about, are you guys okay? So yeah, we are fine. Oh, I'm so glad. But anyway, that's what's going on. So if we are fine, we are safe. A lot of the community has been touched by this, but we're all good here. Anyway, we'll set that aside. Anyway, I only said that because I know we had a few people that messaged us to make sure we're okay. Anyway, but so Kenny, we redeemed some of Kenny's. We redeemed some of Kenny's points. And so we put Bailey on the square, and little Emily was recruited because I believe they are similar-ish in age. Anyway, little Emily was recruited. So little Emily chose the font. Usually what happens is I lay out the name for the size that I needed, and I usually pick the font that best suits it. Well, I couldn't choose between like 6 fonts that I liked for her name, so I laid them all out. Little Emily came in, she picked the font, and then she chose the charms as well. It was cute because, you know, I've got like the balloon animal, and I've got like a popsicle charm, and she's like, yeah, no, I don't think, she's like, I know my friends too, and I don't think they'd want to. So Bailey's square was chosen, short of the color was chosen completely by little Emily. So that is our one there, and we'll get it all up. Like I said, I think we have like 14 or 15 squares left to go on the board. And the music stops. So if you have been waiting to redeem yours, or you need help with it, I say again, please, please, please go ahead and message me. So if you need help redeeming your squares, we can go ahead and get that taken care of for you. But as you can see, we have loads of updated squares. I've got, let's see, that is Josephine. I need to put Josephine and Dee's back up on the wall. But these other ones, I went ahead and let the kids, right? She did so good. I went ahead and let the kids pick out what they wanted. So you'll see, I actually, when I get the font on here, I trace it on with a white Prismacolor because it rubs off. Although I did see somebody doing some embroidery the other day, and it is a heat, like, you can write on it with this pen, but then when you, I will, Kenny, for sure. When you apply heat to it, it erases the mark. So I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. It's like a heat reactive pen or something. I have to look it up. Anyway, but so this will be little Emily's, and then we have little Steve's. We have one for Hannah Carlson up there when she was going through everything, but Johanna has been such a big part of everything that I do. So I wanted to squeeze one on for her. And then, so I wrote out Steve's, which I might need to readjust. I feel like his is a little bit high. But when I wrote Steve on it, he's like, oh, maybe if they're friction pens. Yeah. Yeah, heat reactor. Hi, Mona. And if I missed anyone else coming in, I apologize. But I initially did his, and his said Steve, and he's like, can we put Dr. Steve instead? I'm like, yes, we can put Dr. Steve. But I realized we were coming to the end of our quilt here, so I was like, ooh, I should probably set those aside. So anyway, if you guys missed it, again, this is going to be the final layout of the quilt, and then it will go right up here when it's all done. So the dimensions of it changed a little bit, but yeah, I was like, ooh, I did not account for how many purple squares I actually have left. Right, Durbin? I thought it was so cute. I didn't even think about it, right? That's what I was thinking, Alex. I have one for my mom up there, but she's actually earned points on the channel. That being said, whenever she came to visit, she added a couple more charms until her square was full. Right? It's like, I worked hard for that, doctor. Looking like Minecraft, right? Oh my gosh, I love Minecraft. In fact, if you haven't seen it, Minecraft inspired this page here. So we are working along with, I have 2 more videos that are already scheduled up because I was doing these pages, and we'll go through it again. And I realized that I was going to have to cut out so many clips if I tried to condense it all into one. And I've had like just single of like the single mushroom that I colored like do really well. And so I was just like, I need to do this in 2 parts. Otherwise there's no point. Evelyn, how are you? I'm so glad to see you here. How are you? Francis, hello. So if you have been following along at all, this is Small Victories. I'm trying to finish it to beginning to end. I haven't had as much time to stream, but I'm hopefully making up for it a little bit in the fact that I've been posting a lot more videos. Oh, good. I'm so glad, Ev. So our stages that we're at, you guys will actually get to see the finished page that I have a video up on the, what is today? On the 13th and then the 17th. So you guys will get to see the finished page completely before that. So we have the front and the back. So this was episode 1, episode 2, vinyl was episode 3 because I covered it in a plastic vinyl to protect it. We have episode 4, I'll put the papers back later. Then we have episode 5, 6, thank you, 7, 8, and then this is gonna be 9. So getting a little bit of light glare there. So these 2 were episode 9 part 1. This one is going to be episode 9 part 2, and this one is going to be episode 9.3. And then the next one, because I want to film plenty of videos so they'll be going up while we are gone on our trip. So we have this one. Now, I debated about doing a poll, but I can just ask you guys, oh, thank you. Yeah, 3 parts. There's so much, like, I'll probably do this one. They're more simplified, so I might do this one in like part 1 and part 2. These ones had a lot more elements to it. But have you guys seen, it's working more with like a lot of those Coco Wyo, oh thank you, Coco Wyo coloring books where they're more simplified, but these are so small. Have you seen the trend, the coloring trend, where you turn the items on your page into a sticker? I thought that would be kind of cool. I saw a guy who did, I'll see if I can find the picture here. He did a tattoo on somebody to make it look like embroidery. I don't know if those are too small to make it work, but I screenshot, here it is. Okay. So he made the tattoo look like it's embroidered. And so it got me thinking, I was like, well, and then, you know, I thought about the sticker thing. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, gel pens are fabulous for it. But I was like, that's so cool and kind of unique. So I'm thinking either embroidery or sticker, right? The patch effect is so cool. He's got like a lot of little lines on it, and I think I could make that work. I think I could make it work. And then he's got like stitching across and down. It would definitely make it more unique than the sticker effect. But either way, I thought that that would be like the perfect candidate. Oh, I realize I have this in autofocus. Hang on. Which is nice sometimes, but not when I put my hand in the screen. So yeah, I mean, we've got these little trucks. I kind of think it's perfect for it. We could do an embroidery style with the butterfly, which might be even more impactful because it's big, but I feel like we'd lose a little bit of the embroidery and translation. So I still need to brainstorm about it. I don't think I'll be filming today, but I probably will tomorrow. We've got our trip coming up, so this next week is going to be jam-packed of getting stuff, which, by the way, and I'll remind you guys again at the end. So today will be my last stream for like about 2 weeks because I mentioned to you guys that we're going on vacation. So much Much needed. We all need a little bit of a reset. But if you also missed it, when I go on vacation, I'm actually meeting up with, hi Precious, hello. I'm actually meeting up with Rachel Reinert because she will be in the area where we're visiting, and I'm going to bring a book and she's going to bring a book and she's going to sign both books. So when I come back on the 1st, so if this is something you're interested in, mark it in your calendar. When I come back on the 1st, as long as everything goes okay, I should have 2 signed Rachel Reinert books that I'm going to be giving away. They're brand new books, no coloring in them or anything yet. One will be a copy of Floral Wonderland, and then another one will be her most recent copy of Tropical Wonderland. But those will be, I'm bringing you guys back gift. It's a gift. That sentence was a mess. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Yeah, we are all just looking forward to, also because if you guys have been around for the last 3 or 4 months. Oh, she's doing great. Her kiddos are getting big. We have been sick pretty much nonstop. Like, poor little Steve. It's been every other week, like no joke. And you know, you'd think like, oh, they're out of school, they'd be fine. And it's just like, yeah, not so much. So we put ourselves in a voluntary lockdown because I am so tired of being sick and I just want to go on this vacation and not be sick. So we have been home. Granted, I've still been crazy busy, but I was telling Steve, I'm like, how is it possible that I haven't left the house in a week, but I barely have any free time? Like, there's been so much. But anyway, so we are all like, we need to get out of the house. So we're all feeling a little bit cabin fevery, but if chilling at home for a couple weeks before our vacation means we get to go on our vacation without being sick, yes, please. So anyway, but that's where we're at with the book. So I'm thinking the sticker thing or the embroidery thing, I think it would be really cool on that. I will slide these back in after stream. But anyway, the other thing, and again, I have like all these random announcements to get through. So I came across a video that said that the national, National Forest or whatever it is, but I have the link for it in my community tab, like on the posts thing. Go to there because I posted it. But essentially, National Forest businessy stuff, they've got free crochet patterns. There's like a halibut and a walleye, like they're all forestry themed, and it's really great. This one is lava flow, so I printed it off. But if you want the embroidery thing really cool, that's what I'm thinking. But if you want to check out those free crochet patterns, that was just a side note. I have the link for it over in my post. I just thought that it was super cool. Okay, last thing before we get started. So if you guys saw last month, this is the July Instagram subscriber. Oh, wow. That word was hard. July Instagram subscribers and the YouTube July's coloring download. My brain's not working, you guys. Words are hard. July's coloring download for Instagram subscribers and YouTube members. Anyway, this is available. But I really wanted to color it myself as well. So I'm doing this on watercolor paper, and I am using the Winsor & Newton gouache. Hang on, Paul is scratching at the door, and he is like going nuts. 1 second. He's got a little bit of FOMO. He's fear of missing out. Hello, sir. Hi. Did you want to come say hi? Yeah? Did you want to say hi to everyone? He's over there just scratching on the door. Hi. There we go. Support the bottom, mother. Do you feel better now? Were you missing out? Yeah? Were you missing out? Did you feel left out? You couldn't be in here? And of course now he's just like standing there. Thank you. He's got his little Paul emotes, but he's got a little bit of FOMO. Absolutely, Paul. It was a midlife crisis while I was away. I came back with a tattoo and another ear piercing. Natalie, I say go for it. Honestly, like, his name is Sir Paul McCartney. Oh, we're back. Okay, we doing this? Welcome to his tale. So he's here now. This is where he just, oh, getting a phone call, but I don't recognize the number. Anyway, he's just chilling. Anyway, you're rubbing your face on the camera. Those are his whiskers. Paul, you're a little bit needy, sir. Anyway, yeah, Sir Paul McCartney. He was found in a litter of 4 where we used to live, and so they called all four kittens John, Paul, George, and Ringo. And so we thought his name was perfect, and you know, because it was Paul McCartney, but we're like, oh my gosh, we're missing an opportunity for Paul McCartney. So Paul McCartney it is. Absolutely. Such a funny cat. Anyway, so yeah, I've been working on this painting off and on as I've had time, especially because like I don't film the reels at nighttime as much because the lighting is so much better in the daytime. So nighttime is usually when I've been working on this, but I'm actually kind of in love. I mean, not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. I'm loving how it's turning out. I haven't tackled the house for it yet, but I also am debating about putting a background on. Hi, Kristen. I'm debating about putting a background on it. Oh, thank you. But here's the thing. Because I would never sell any picture that I've done in the Johanna books, right? Yeah, I was going for kind of an antique look, Durbin, and yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of loving it too. Obviously, I would never sell a Johanna page because that's her illustration. I just colored it. But this is one of my original illustrations, and I am really loving how it's turning out. So we've been demonstrating on this painting related. Hi, Ozma. We're going to do painting in the new book. So not this one. This one's been kind of a personal kind of project. But I am thinking when it's done, or are we settling in? We're settling in. When it's done, depending on how I feel about it. That's what I was thinking, Durbin. Prints, and then that was my pencil sharpener. Thank you. And then maybe sell the original. But definitely some prints. I think it could be really cool. So far, this has taken 8 or 9 hours, I think. This definitely is not a fast project by any means, but yeah, 8 or 9 hours. So, I mean, I don't know if I'll be able to get it done before I go. I probably won't because we have loads of packing to do, but I am planning on bringing my painting stuff with me. In fact, preemptively, because you're doing later in the year. Oh, that I could, but the thing of it is the registration for the festival, the last early bird registration is August 1st. And after that, like registration for it is $20 more. So as it is, the registration for that is like 50 to 60 bucks when you do the early one. But when you register for the early one, the paintings need to already be done because it's a juried art show. So they have to judge them. They did the timing different last year. And so I told Steve, I was just like, the chaos that it would be trying to finish this before we go, because you have to submit 3. I have 2 that are a half. One of them I'm not showing because it's actually a local landmark, but none of them are done. And I'm like, I can't do that to myself. But I did sign up for the plein air contest, which if you missed it last year, I did at Arts Festival. So there's the quick draw, which is where you have, how long was it? Was it 2 hours, I think, to finish a painting from beginning to end. That was chaotic, but also fun. And I got a book from the library. I think I have a set over there, but it's more about like drawing quick and bold, which are, I mean, this is neither quick nor bold. This is slow and detailed. Anyway, but there's that 2-hour one. And then there will be a 3-day one where we have to choose a location within a particular address range. And then we go and paint that for 3 days. And then there's this big show at the end of the week. Anyway, it's a thing. But I just told Steve, I'm like, I'm going to be making this so much harder on myself. Thanks, Lisa. And Connie, I don't know if I said hi. Hi, Connie. there's just no practicality of time whatsoever. But I want to bring my paint stuff with me when I go. So I actually cleaned out, because this paint was getting pretty old because I haven't been using this as of late. I've been using my other palette. So I cleaned this out. I'm going to put fresh paint in it. And this is going to come with me on the trip. And then, because I don't know if you guys saw it, but I've been working on these little, I guess technically they'd be like artist trading cards or whatever. But I think when I'm done with these ones, because I still have the duck one to finish. That's what I'm thinking, Kenny. That's what I'm thinking. When I'm done with these, I think I want to put them all in a single frame and kind of like do almost a collage style with them. Not like collage where you cut it up and whatever. No, but I'll just like arrange it in a collage. But I like the idea of the small ones. And especially if I'm on a trip, I'm not going to want to spend too much time. So I took 2 sheets of my watercolor paper and I have cut them into almost trading card size. But they're not really, so I'd probably just call them mini paintings. And this little plastic baggie of paintings is going to come with me along with the travel one. ATCs, make prints of those 2 or stickers. I haven't really been making any more stickers lately, and I'm hesitant to do that with the trading cards. So there's two different things. There's the artist trading cards, which traditionally, when you go to an event, you legitimately like trade with other artists. I was reading up on it, and apparently it's quite a bit of a faux pas. I don't think so. I mean, artist trading cards have been around for a while. It was more so I was just like, because things have been so busy, it's been a lot easier for me to do small little ones than big ones. But yeah, apparently there's a huge faux pas with selling the artist trading cards. However, there are things called ACEOs, which I need to do more research about, but yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with them yet. But I'm gonna start with, honestly, I just thought about like painting little areas when we're on vacation, and then just like, if I paint a business, just give it to the business. I was gonna stamp it on the backside, but I think I will just do little paintings while I'm there, because I'm not gonna wanna do painting the entire time, but I do find it relaxing. There will be a beach involved, and yeah. I haven't printed new ones recently, and it's partially just because, again, time. Anyway, but I'm hoping to come back with at least a few of those painted, and I've already made plans. We are going to be, the place where we're staying is much closer to the beach. It'll be within walking distance. So I'm planning some early morning trips to go get some shells. Sounds good, Kenny. Right, that's what I'm thinking. So because I'm not making them artist trading cards, I don't know. Maybe I could sell them when I come back. I just don't know. I need to think about it more. But for now, I'm like, I'm going to bring it with me and just have fun, because that's what we're going to do. So, sir, I want to get some painting done. Sorry, I'm realizing you're seeing half my face. There you go. I'm going to get some painting done. Will that be okay with you? He just wants to chill. All right, we can do that for now. So, Fairytale Worlds. I know some of you got it already, especially if you had like ordered because there was like an international version, right? Mine was supposed to be here Tuesday, but didn't actually arrive until Wednesday evening. Exactly, Ev. That's what I'm thinking. I'm excited too, because I'll be able to go to the place where I order my coffee from and get the coffee without having to pay shipping. I told Paul, yeah, there you go. Just Sir Paul. I told Steve, I was just like, look, I'm not gonna like get a bunch of souvenirs. We really don't. We got souvenirs last year, like, unless there's something the kids want. Like, I'm not planning on going crazy. I was like, however, there is one thing I do want to buy when I'm there, and that's my coffee. He's like, okay. So, buddy, I need more space on here. We gotta skadoodle. His tail is twitching. All right, here we go. This way. Can you come this way? He's sticking his back legs like, no, I don't. Thank you. Sorry, Paul, but we're here. I've only been streaming once a week. You gotta let me do it. Hi, Sue. So what we're going to do, I posted a video with kind of like a mini flip through, sort of partial flip through, only because I didn't want to give the whole thing away. And also the flip through took longer than You can't do like more than a minute on YouTube, otherwise it doesn't count. It goes like it uploads as a regular video, but I've been all about the short form content because that is what I have time for. Anyway, first of all, I love the new covers she's been doing for her books. Let's see, do I have the other one? I do. Okay, so I have Shooting Star, and if you're unfamiliar with it, I almost started yelling, but then I remember I have the mic with me, so I don't have to yell. Went over to the bookshelf. Oh, I just hit the desk. Don't mind me, it's full of chaos. Speaking of chaos, I totally smashed my head on a shelf yesterday. It was not good. So we are still at, let's see, do I still have it? Here we go. Will always be 0 days since last accident. Legit, like little Emily had to come down on because it was on the top of my head. I'm like, am I bleeding? Turns out I was. Anyway, accident prone. I'm fine now. So anyway, these are all by Maria Trolle. And so this was kind of like the style that her books were printed in before. I don't know if it's just my love of pastel colors, but my God, I would buy these books just for the covers themselves. If I am Evel, words are hard. Oh my gosh, can I get an exclamation point words in chat? Absolutely not, Ev. Like you guys could probably, it was like I was bending down to refill the cat water fountain, which the vet said we needed to get for our older kitty. Anyway, beside the point. And there's this shelf in the hallway, and I was apparently positioned right, and it wasn't even that I hit it on the side, it was the corner, and it got me like right here. Little Emily heard me yell, and I was like, yep, it's just me being me. It's all good. Yeah, the newer covers, Durbin, absolutely gorgeous. So this was Shooting Star. And this new one is Fairytale Worlds. Like I was saying, if I am ever able to put out my own book, which, who knows, I'm working towards it. Something will happen someday. Right, Angela? Oh, Angela, no joke. When I first started coloring, I had moved over to a Hannah Carlson book, and I literally told Steve exactly that. I hadn't been posting as much then because this was like early days. But Angela, I actually told him, like, I feel like I'm cheating on Johanna when I color another book, because up until that point, that was all I had colored. I'm good now, but then I was like, I feel like I'm cheating on. Oh, awesome, Jeanette. Yeah, for whatever reason, the shipping was really high for if you were like out of the US. Ah, sounds great, Christina. So glad. Yes. Well, and if it makes you feel any better, there have been fewer streams this summer between sickness and busyness. Like, yeah. All right, you two-timer. Awesome, Kara. But yeah, so this is her new one that came out, Fairytale Worlds. I haven't spent too long looking at it, so I haven't picked out a page or anything. And I love that she's got a dedication up here that says "To Mom with Love." How cute is that? With a little cloud with a drum. I'm sure that has a special meaning to them. But as you can see by the white compared to this, we have got ivory colored paper. It's 19 here with shipping charges. Oh gosh. Yeah, that's rough. That's rough. So her books are put out by Gibbs Smith, which generally puts out some really high quality stuff. It'd be cool to get a book deal with them. As far as the paper's concerned, it feels like her other books. Oh, look, I didn't even read this at all. So the inscription says, when I was little, my mother would read aloud from books filled with fairy tales from all over the world. Classic stories by the Brothers Grimm and Hans Christian Andersen, together with Swedish folk tales, filled my evenings with joy and excitement. The stories were often populated by princes and princesses, magical powers, and mysterious beings. Although the tales sometimes had dark and scary elements, they usually ended happily for the main character, which was, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't read it. I can't read. Which was reassuring to me as a small child. As an adult, I'm still fascinated by fairy tales and fairytale words, something that I think is reflected in my coloring books. Fairy tales have a unique ability to weave together the mythical with the human, and they speak to something deep in all of us. I found inspiration for fairytale worlds from my favorite stories from childhood, some well-known, others less so. I also drew upon stories and tales I've encountered as an adult and chose to include illustrations of myths and creatures that do not belong to any specific fairy tale, but are associated with that genre of storytelling. I hope those of you who color in this book get many moments of joy and imagination when creating your own colorful journey through the world of the fairy tale. Isn't that nice? It's so nice. Right? Well, and I was off for a little bit last month too. That was almost like a whole month, wasn't it, guys? Just because we were all so sick and then we got the flu. It was a thing, man. Dresses has a picture. Lately, the 2 email addresses would switch around randomly for YouTube. Well, Kim, if you have, I'll check to see if there's 2 Kim. Message me later. Let me know. So if you've got points across 2 accounts, I can merge those points. So message me later if you see you've got like a different, you know, amounts and you want them on 1 account. Just let me know. Oh, Angela, it's so good. Ordered it from Blackwell's. Oh, nice. So on the back, I won't read which fairy tale it is for all of them, but you'll be able to check when you do it. So she's got the page numbers and she tells you the fairy tale back here. Full disclosure, I'm definitely not going to be like, oh, every single page is amazing, because there are a couple pages, and I'm going to have to see which fairy tale it ties to. I don't like the bulldogs, and part of the reason, maybe I could find a way to paint over it and make him happy. He looks like he's had too much coffee, but I'm sure there's a story with it. So this is page 22. The Tinderbox, Fairy Tale by Hans Christian. I don't know that one, so I'm going to need to look it up. But he kind of creeps me out. He's got his little eye veins. The man's been staring at a screen too long. Like, just lay off the coffee, drink a little water, look at nature, you'll be fine. I'm sure it's all relevant to the fairy tale. I just don't know that one. Okay, good. I'm glad I'm not alone. Like, I was flipping through and I'm like, the fudge is this, man? This ain't Kirby's book. There's no dark fairy tales, but okay. Anyway, again, I'm probably just not aware of the fairy tale, but I was like, we might not color that one straight away. All right, so we'll go ahead and do a flip through so you guys can kind of just see what's in here. I've been trying to think about which one I want to do. This one has potential because we're going to do paint. And the reason I chose paint is, well, number one, who are we kidding? I've been loving using paint lately. And number two, I actually had somebody specifically ask me how the pages, talk about watercoloring. Yeah, they were asking me how it handles water medium. So I was like, well, heck, man, we're going to be doing gouache, not watercolor, because again, love me some gouache. But honestly, the techniques that I use can be used with watercolor as well. They're pretty interchangeable. This one is cool, but with all the hair, I feel like I would want to do this one in pencil. We've got Princess. This one's pretty cute. I wonder if that's Thumbelina, maybe? 15. The Wishes is the name of it. I wonder if like Thumbelina would be, but I do love coffee. That is true. It is, Kim. Yes, this is the one that just came out. I did a partial kind of mini flip through on, you know, on Reels and Shorts and TikTok and all of that. Of course, we've got Jack and the Beanstalk. This could actually be really cute if you were going to do like a cool sky. So many apples in the book, right? Well, especially if she includes like Snow White. Let's see, Sleeping Under a Tree. See, I think of like Alice in Wonderland, but I guess the 2 pages are like kind of the same fairy tale. Let's see, 18 and 9. Okay, we are stopping to look at some of them because I'm curious. 18 and 19 is The Wind in the Pine Tree. It's a Japanese folk tale. Oh, that's cool. What a cool theme for a book. Having a moment with some bacon. Right? There we go. This one's The Little Mermaid. Thought this was cool. See, and again, I'm imagining what I can do. Oh, yeah. Are the pages numbered? They are. So if you look up the page number, so like this is page 20, and then it will correspond with back here. So if you look here, it's got the page numbers and then the fairy tale. So each fairy tale gets 2 pages worth. Yeah, absolutely, Kim, go for it. So yeah, Little Mermaid. And we have our dog with too much coffee. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And we've got more, we got a little prince and princess. This has got to be Red Riding Hood. See, I initially thought that was a fox, but it's a wolf. Got another apple. See, this can be cute because we could actually paint it like a legit apple. I've got some, is the same as Sagan? I believe so. Just look for that same kind of pink and green page. So the other reason why we're doing this too and kind of making this a testing date, because I will be gone for 2 weeks. I didn't want to like start a page with you guys and then come back and we're like, what did we do? Fewer books in which all pages are cute and fancy, right? Yes, it's super cute. So this one is a potential for today because I have some reference pictures that I took on my phone. Let's see, probably the ugly duckling, I think, because we got the swan little duckling over here. This one reminded me of Moana, you know, where Tafiti was the mountain. I just started but didn't finish the apple. Yeah, we might do that one. So then we've got the little soldier, toy soldier in his boat. Oh, that must be the Nutcracker. Does he leave on a boat eventually? Do I need to refresh myself? No. Okay, I'm checking this one. Hi, Di. I almost said double A, but hi, Ashley. Let's see. The Steadfast Tin Soldier. Is that supposed to be like the Nutcracker? Because there's a ballerina in the Nutcracker too. These ones are pretty. See, I love these almost like illuminated manuscript kind of style. A hard time with that brand. Yeah, it takes a little bit of practice. Like, polychromos are good. They're definitely not the ones I reach to first, but it's still real good. Got a little dragon. I did think the dragon was really cute. That was adorable. Not sure about this one, but I was like, why is she crying? They don't look happy. I'm almost afraid. What, 42 is Little Sister and Little Brother, collected and retold by the Brothers Grimm. Oh, it probably does have a sad ending then. See, some of these I don't know. Super pretty. This one could be a good one for portraits. I'm gonna guess this is Snow White. We got our little dwarves here in apple. She's running in the wood. Let's see, 46. Yep, Snow White. Wait. Oh, it's an Italian fairy tale collected and retold by the Brothers Grimm. I was like, I didn't know that was an Italian fairy tale, like traditionally. This one's got to be the genie. Genie and Aladdin. Hansel and Gretel. What's this one? 52. The Moon Maiden. Ooh, this could be really pretty if you could plan out the moon. I thought this was kind of cool with the glow on the bamboo. And we've got a phoenix. Honestly, it looks Sirius Black's riding off into the sunset here. 54, East of the Sun, North of the Earth. It's a Swedish folktale. And I feel like I want to look that up, just see how close it is to Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Pages are numbered? That is a good question. I've got other ones that I have right here. Yeah, these ones are, that's one page I did there. These ones are not numbered, but it's probably because she correlates it with fairy tales. Oh, Disney could sponsor it. Yeah. That's got to be The Princess and the Frog. Number 60 is The Golden Tree, The Singing River, and The Speaking Bird, otherwise known as The Bird with the Gold Box. Yeah, there's loads of them. There's a ton of them. That's the other reason, like, when I've been thinking about, like, doing my own book, I was like, dang, man, I need to just get the book done and tuck those pages away for whenever a company approaches me. I'm like, look, I have all these new illustrations, but I got to shoot for, like, at least 75, 60 to 75, something like that. This one's nice. Is that like a, oh, that's probably Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast, 62. Yep, Beauty and the Beast. Originally a French fairy tale. I could see that. I could see that. Sleeping with a Bear. Oh, Snow White and Red Rose. Oh, interesting. I wonder if Red Rose is like Aurora, Princess Aurora. And some stacked farm animals. The Town Musicians of Bremen. Let's see. I like the feathers in the hair. I feel like that could be really cool. Let's see. It's a swan, right? Number 68. The 3 swans. Okay, that makes sense. And then we've got another dragon. Feel like that has potential. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, framing the pages. I framed a few, but I spent a period of time where pages that I finished, I laminated them and then I hung them up on the wall, like wallpaper almost. I feel like I still want one of these to be Thumbelina. 72 is the Goosekeeper at the Spring. Is that Rapunzel, maybe? Oh no, she's got a snowflake in her hair. Tale of the Snowdrop, and then we'll have the Farm Elf and the Nutcracker and the Mouse King. Okay, so that one, we have the Nutcracker coming up. Right, despite the dogs. Okay, so there's a, oh, but these would be so fun to color for Christmas time, right? So that is the flip through the book. I even love this inside part with the teal. I mean, teal's been my jam lately. Oh, awesome. Yeah, for sure. If you want to do like a print of them or something. And these days, I don't remove pages from the book too often. The amount of gasps that I got when I X-Acto knife the pages out of the book. However, I haven't done that in a while. So if we're going to test some paint, I do feel like that apple is going to be, because it's got super thick lines and we're going to be kind of covering it up anyway. Does she explain pages in all her books? No, because her other ones, like I said, so we've got Shooting Star, and I think they're just, you know, ones she comes up with her match. See, look at that, it's also pretty. So yeah, this one doesn't even have that back page. So no, I think it's partially because of the fairy tales it's attached to. Like Kirby does that with his, but it's like when he's done the, I really liked that she stopped doing the black filled page. I like that we have switched from that. But Kirby will do his based on, like, he did a book based on endangered animals, and so he has that kind of information in the back. Beauty is called Belle. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. It's just one of those things I hadn't thought about. Okay, here we go. And plus it's got the nice little butterfly. So I think we're gonna do this one. I haven't fully, I don't know, do you call this breaking the spine or just stretching it out? I feel like breaking the spine is a little bit of a misnomer when it comes to hardback books. That's the other thing, is if I ever put out my own, I really want it to be hardback. Oh my gosh, it's 10:52 and we're just, well, you know, we're having fun. I had loads of announcements this morning. So if you guys missed any of the announcements, you can always watch them back at the beginning. But just as a reminder, our next stream won't be until August 1st. The family and I are going on a much needed vacation, and then we will get back. School for the kids starts in about a month or so. So I'm hoping that by September we can get back to our Wednesdays and Friday streams. Right, and some of them. Indexes for plants and flowers. Yes, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's jump into what we are using today. Tools that we are going to have on hand. We have our handy dandy heat gun. Oh, thank you. We are going to be, everything that we're using today should be in the description. So handy dandy heat gun. These ones, this is a ceramic palette, just an empty one that I got at Jerry's Artorama when I went there for my birthday. Love it because this is kind of like our mixing palette, and then it's got just enough for a little bit. Yeah. It's got just enough wells in it. So like this green and this light green, this is something that I pre-mixed myself. The rest of these all come directly from the tube. Now, you don't necessarily, again, you can do this with watercolor. You don't need to have the specific paints that I have. The reason that I have these ones is because there are times when the paintings I make, I sell, and I want to have high quality paints for that. So these are the Winsor Newton Designer Gouache. I believe I have the 10 set, but I've added a few colors that were not in the original set. Let's see, do I have? I think I've got, my mother-in-law actually got me a fresh box for my birthday, but I think I've got it on a shelf. Anyway, but the point is, it comes with some original colors. The colors that I have added to it are, and it's just like overtime. Don't go out and like get a bunch of colors, because honestly, because they are the designer level gouache, they are expensive. It's actually interesting. So if you look at the tubes and you may be getting paint and wondering like, well, why is one color more expensive than the other? And it has to do with the pigment and how easy it is to source. So I don't know if you can see. There we go. Okay, sorry, my hands don't stop moving. So this one is series 2. This one is series 1. The higher the series, the more expensive it will get. I have got my eyes on a green one that's a series 3. I've never had a series 3 before. But again, it's just the difficulty of obtaining the pigment. Anyway, for series 3, they're like closer to like 20 bucks. So series 1 is gonna be closer to 10-ish, but they're nice. So the colors that will come in your regular set, if I remember correctly, I believe it is the primary yellow. So the ones that I added were the linden green, cypress green, Prussian blue. Ah, crap, I can't remember. Pretty sure I added the light purple and the spectrum blue, but the set that I have in there, it is, I believe it's a set of 10. So not including the whites, I have 16 colors here totally. So if you're like wanting to get your own and wondering which ones to add to it, these are the ones I have so far. Like I said, my next color, I want to say it's going to be the Windsor green that I've got my eyes on. Do I send the color pages to Maria? No, but I do tag her in them. I do tag her in them. Pitt Pen's 90 set is $6.27 on Faber-Castell, but Blix is selling it for $2.30. You know, a lot of times that's the way it works though, like on the main website. Definitely, whenever you're getting a big set of any kind of art supplies that's more expensive, definitely shop around the websites. But yeah, so these are my colors that I have at my disposal, along with the permanent white gouache and the zinc. And then of course I have, like I said, the 2 colors. And it looks cracked now, but that's because it's dried out a little bit, but you can reactivate it. So these 2 colors are ones I just mixed up that I reuse sometimes because I like to have more greens. All right, let me pull up, you know, I might just grab my iPad for it because I know I've got a picture of an apple on there as well, and it's fully charged. So I'm gonna show you the reference photo that I'll have, but obviously if you got an apple at home, go ahead and just snap some pictures. Let's see, let's pull up. Do I like that one? Yeah. That one can work. Let me crop it down though real quick. I think I took a picture of it right before I was about to cut it. You guys will get to see where I make my coffee. See, I had it on the counter. I keep cinnamon and like pumpkin pie spice and nutmeg next to my coffee maker because I like to put cinnamon and stuff. Oh, a green apple could be pretty. Let's see. 60 bucks, but I couldn't resist the 90. Dawn's building me a new bookcase. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. Okay, so I'm going to crop that in. Okay, and then we're going to turn it. All right, so this is going to be my reference picture. If you want to screenshot that, feel free to see. I've got this little coffee thing back here. I've got my decaf, my regular. You know, so fancy. Anyway, obviously it doesn't translate perfectly, but feel free to screenshot this if you want to use it later because this is the picture that I'm going to do. Right, it's so good, Callie. I have to put just a little bit of nutmeg because it's such a strong spice. But yeah, I like to sprinkle cinnamon and nutmeg, and it's so good. All right, we don't need this tray of paint here because we already have it in our palette. I'm going to shift this, okay. Alrighty, so if you're just tuning in, we're an hour in, we're coloring now, but we're gonna, in Fairytale Worlds by Maria Trolle, we're gonna do the apple page, and we've got our reference picture, which I use reference pictures all the time to make sure I'm getting things correct. I also have my coffee, but we're not painting that. Okay, so let's see. On the picture I have, it's a little bit more top down than the side, but we're going to use that as a frame of reference. So I've got my, oh, it's so good. Yeah, I just do a couple sprinkles. Like I don't overload it, obviously, but you could like test out, you know, like maybe no more than like 1/8 of a teaspoon or something to begin with, depending on how strong you like it. So we're gonna grab our brushes here. I've really been into the Da Vinci Cosmetop brushes, which are ones that I got directly from Jerry's Artorama. Given how I like details and whatnot, like they have been my best friend. I've also got these ones when I'm covering more areas. They hold more water. What is the brand? Fumui? Call them my Fooey brushes. When I get frustrated, I just chuck the brush and I go, ah, Fooey. Anyway, it's number 8 round. Let's see, is there any other I want to add to it? Yeah, we'll get out. This is a number 4 Winsor Newton Cotman brush. So there aren't really any gouache brushes out there, but I mostly just use watercolor brushes that are with it. And again, just to preface, we're not doing a full color along here. Today is, we're gonna work on the apple, but because I'm gonna be gone for so long, I don't wanna leave you guys hanging. Yes, August 1st. Yeah, the next stream will be August 1st at 10. I don't do things hyper realistic, but I have been enjoying doing things semi-realistic. So when you look at this apple, first thing you think of probably is red, right? Okay, now this part's pretty obvious. So next thing you think of is, yeah, I put it in the coffee grounds. Yeah, because it doesn't really dissolve when I put it in the coffee directly. So I sprinkle the cinnamon on the coffee grounds and let it run through. If you've got like a Keurig, I don't know if it would work the same. Yeah, these are really nice. I like them a lot. I think I have a link for them. They got a little worn pretty quick, so. Oh, you have a Keurig, gotcha. Okay, so when you look at this though, you see red, you see yellow straight away. We got just a little bit of green on the top, but what I also see is, you see these little speckles? We have all these little speckles, and this is not a solid red. Now we're getting slightly, okay, so this right here, that's an accurate highlight. So when you're looking at these colors, yes, there is red, but you think like, oh, this is the yellow part. No, this is gonna be a little bit of orange. But then also, you've got the highlight of the apple. It's not white completely. It's kind of more of a pink. One of the things you can do is you can get like an eyedropper tool and you can highlight, or you can, tap these sections so you can get a better idea of what the color is itself. Your mind automatically registers it as white because you see everything else here and you're like, oh, highlight, that's a white. So what I'll do when I have my reference photos is I stop and I take a little bit closer look at what the colors truly are. I don't think about what's up here. I don't think about what's here. But when I zoom in, I'm like, okay, what am I seeing here? I'm seeing, I could use the word texture, but it's, apples are smooth. So it's not texture. It's more like visual texture, right? You've got all the dots. You've got some lines. You've got some other strong colors. So sometimes it helps to really kind of literally zoom in and look at the details. I love coffee. It's absolutely delicious. So I'm not going to do like a full yellow undercoat. I think what we're going to do is we're going to start to get in some colors because we've got some cooler reds up in the top right hand corner. We've got our warmer reds and everything. So that is what we're going to start with. But I'm not going to make it super, super dark. So let's zoom out for just a sec. You guys. So this one here is my warmer red. This is my cooler red. Like I said, I want to go lightly to kind of map things out. So you can see, yeah, we mostly like just chat and hang out. So this one, although it still looks like it's kind of a cool colored red, if we put this here, you can see the difference. By itself, this looks, like, oh, it's pink or whatever, but you can see the difference in color between the two. So we've got our warmer red and we've got our cooler red. So pretty significant difference. Say the good artist is normally someone who sees at what's actually there rather than they think is there. Yes, that's it exactly. And honestly, that is just what in the last couple of years, especially since I've been doing all this painting, that's part of what it is. It's kind of like just as simple as one of the great ways that you can practice with, see, another apple. We like apples in this family, is this blackberry, right? When you see a bunch of blackberries in your head, you think, oh, that's black. But when you look closer, you've got the highlights, you've got the red, you've got the black, the blue, the purple, and everything. And so adding in all those other things is what gives it depth. I was watching when you did that, Shannon. I gotta tell you, I don't know who your teacher was, but she was harsh, man. You were in freaking kindergarten. She should have said A+ all around. What is she doing harping on a, wait, what age is kindergarten? 6? You were 6. I don't remember, but the point is, you had a harsh teacher, man. I was thinking like, oh, that's so cute. It's great. Like I said, it reminds me of my ceramics teacher that told me, she was so, you were 4. Oh my gosh. See, yeah, my ceramics teacher in college, she told me that she didn't want me to do symmetrical. And so I'm like, well, if you want to make a purple apple, you make a purple apple. Yeah, she hopefully she didn't make that a profession for her whole life, because it's just crushing the hopes and dreams of all the children. So I'm not going to be coloring exactly, but we're going to start mapping in our red and kind of warmer and cooler colors. So we've already got some lines on here. We're just going to work with that. By the time we're done, we'll have enough color that kind of layers up. So I'm going to start sketching in these lines. And that's why I also I don't do like a ton of heavy paint, because we're going to be layering on top of this. So here especially, we don't want to just go down. We're going to go at a curve. And we're going to follow the direction of the apple. I went a little over on the butterfly, but it's just fine. It's not important. So right now, this is incredibly watered down paint. And that's because we are just trying to get a lot of the lines. When it comes to gouache, I feel like I've said it before, it's like watercolor and acrylic and had a baby, because you can layer with gouache like you would layer with acrylic almost. However, the difference between that is that the gouache will reactivate. So once you have enough layers of gouache on here, keep in mind that the pigment will move around along with it. Okay, so we're going to, this side's going to be a little bit heavier red. No, on Shannon's stream the other day, she was showing her coloring book from kindergarten. She was doing flip through, and it had all of the teacher's comments and everything. And Shannon was in kindergarten. That woman was being a little bit harsh. But yes, we have known, I mean, Shannon and Kenny, like, we've been around here since what? I started streaming in, what was it? 2000, started coloring, adult coloring in 2015. Was it 2016 or 2017? I can't remember. But yeah, they've been here since the beginning. So my lines aren't super, some of them are a little squiggly, but it's okay, because right now we're just sort of plotting out our colors here. So we're going to do a little bit more. In fact, if you type in !Lurky, L-U-R-K-Y, that's the link to Shannon's. Very long time, very much so. Okay, so although these are curved, by the time we get to the front, I want to straighten them out just a little bit. And hang on, the kids are making noise. I'm so glad, thank you. Hang on, I'm gonna shut the door real quick. Hey, don't play with the doors. They know better, they're not supposed to play with the doors. That's how fingers get smashed in doors. Thank you, Ev. Ooh, Ev, don't forget to grab your download for this month, if you guys are unsure what the colors package is. So that's our membership, where you have access to all of these handy dandy emotes. Oof, there we go. That you can use in our chat, as well as a monthly coloring download. How long I've been here? 61 months. Yeah, so I mean, gosh, let me just hit the desk. That's a handful of years, which is just amazing. You guys are all amazing. Okay, so we've got kind of our red sketched in. Let's start mapping in some of our yellow. Oh, wrong way. This way. There we go. So this is my yellow's a little bit contaminated by the other colors, but honestly, it's fine. So I am adding in our yellow here, but I don't want it super bright yellow, so we're just going to add a fair amount of water, and I just want a little bit. Okay. Yeah, that's a really long time. Y'all are amazing, seriously. Okay, so we're gonna add in some of our yellow so we know kind of where to work things in. Okay, and we'll be able to add a shadow under the butterfly as well, but we're not going to do it directly behind it. We'll kind of lift it and away from it since it's in the air, unless we think that it's resting directly on it. I'm not entirely sure. So for my image, most of the yellow is going to be on the left-hand side. Okay. And again, I don't want to add so much yellow that it turns completely orange, but we will have some. Okay, that's good enough for the yellow now. Yay, Angela, that's exciting. If you type in !lurky, or if somebody wants to type that in, L-U, there it is. Thank you, Kenny. That's the link for Shannon's. Most of our fellow streamers here, I think I have links for. I'd have to double check. It's been a while since I updated them. Okay, so now I am going to grab, keep picking it up, but I think we'll just zoom out. So this is another kind of like orangey yellow. I'm going to grab that, and then we'll probably bring in some of this one also, just so we can get some of that color in there, because again, we're just sort of color blocking right now, and then we'll start to add more layers. So there's more orange stuff here where the red and yellow are kind of mixing. Go. Yeah, that's coming along. Oh, Lisa, I'm so glad you're here. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're usually about 2 hours. Sounds good. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, we do about 2 hours. And in fact, because we have such a long break, we might go a little bit longer today. We'll see how far we get on the apple. Let's see. Where's my schedule? What is today? Friday? Oh, Shannon, you're after me, aren't you? I don't know where the heck I put my schedule. It was hanging up. Anyway, but yeah, Shannon, you're after me, right? We're 6 hours depending, right? Oh, nice. That's gotta be fun. Do you have a favorite one? Okay, so let's see. Yeah, what was it? That was one of those dresses that I drew, right? That we had like that 5-hour long stream. It was crazy. Okay, so now let's grab some of that kind of ochre color a little bit. Oh, is Angela? Bye. Bye, Angela. Thanks for being here. Okay, so we're going to grab some of that. It's like a little bit more of a light brownish kind of color. Trying to go right up to that wing over there. Okay, and then over on this side, we have a little bit of like a lighter color right up here in this corner. So we're actually going to bring in some of that cooler kind of red. Oh, I'm so glad. Oh, yeah, I love Johanna's books. They are amazing. We got so many. Just waiting for your boss to meet me. Didn't he say, aren't you taking a vacation soon where you will be required to color? I can't remember. Did that already happen? Okay, so we're going to get some of this pink here. Just a little bit. Again, we're just kind of mapping out our colors here. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and start going in a little bit more because we've got kind of that visual texture of the apple. What we'll probably do for the little spots is we'll use our permanent white and we'll go back in afterwards to add in all of those little speckles. Read for the 4th. I did not color. Oh, you diamond painted. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. 6 languages. That is amazing. I'm right there with you, Shannon. I took Earl and looked right to this community. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so glad. I took Spanish in high school. And we're just using that warmer red now. We're going to kind of fill in the space. I took Spanish in high school. I took sign language in college. So I kind of know enough to get me around. But if I were to ever learn another language,
I think honestly, I would love to learn Korean, partially because it would be relevant for us, because eventually, I know I'm going over the lines, but with gouache being a layering paint, it doesn't really matter as much. Eventually, we would like to go over to Korea. Like I said, we have friends over there, his biological parents, like maybe he could meet his mom someday. But we do have friends over there that agreed to act as translators. But how cool would it be if we were to go over there and I could speak the language? Like, that would be awesome. All right, so we're just filling in. We can zoom in. I don't know. Do you guys want it wide enough that you can still see the painting, or see the palette, or do you want to, in fact, I could move this palette over here. Or, I don't know how much you guys want to see here. There we go. That's a little bit better. Now you can see the mixing. My other tongue is Hindi, English, then I learned Japanese, German, Spanish, and Urdu. Oh my gosh, that is amazing. I don't think my brain could function that well. I mean, you guys heard me reading that passage. I was tripping all over my words. So I'm just going lightly because I don't want to cover up the marks that I made. Sounds good, Alex. I don't want to cover up the marks that I made, but I want to start filling in this area with red. Came across a video yesterday. I was showing it to Steve. This person did a line drawing, but it gets to the point where it looks like a photograph. And I'm like, you know, I can kind of make my brain work around the stuff that I do, but the skill and the patience, I think that's part of what it is. I feel like I could learn to do that, but it's the patience of it that would just get me. Like one of the paintings I'm working on, it's of a building and I'm doing all the individual bricks. Someone needs to go back in time and smack me upside the head and tell me not to do the individual bricks. But it's too late, so we got to keep rolling with it. But I'm just like, oh my gosh, my ADHD would not let me. I'd get so easily distracted. Right, Kenny, I'm just like, or not Kenny, Shannon, I'm just like, what? This isn't even, how did they do this? How is this even possible? Do layers of fruit make more layers than skin tone on people? I think it depends. I think the hard thing about skin tone on people, short of their natural skin texture, you know, generally the idea is a smooth color across. And I think with fruit, it allows a little bit more leeway because you can do the texture. And in fact, I actually have these out because I didn't put them away. I have these little books that I've done for watercolors, and in the square one, let's see if I can find it. Oh, unless this is the one, this isn't the one that has, I did a dragon fruit. I think I have it over there. Hang on, let me check this one real quick. There's some landscapes, florals. It's my mother-in-law's backyard. I'm gonna reattempt it this year. Hang on. I have too many books like tucked away in different places. Oh, there it is. Haha. Go figure. I put it on the bookshelf. Okay, hang on. We do a lot of side quests here. There we go. Dragon fruit. So you have more freedom with texture on the fruit. The more you do it. Yeah. Little Emily. I haven't shown you guys that one before. It doesn't show her face though, but that was her on a swing. They really wanted to go to the park that day, so I brought my painting stuff and set it up and was painting her on the swing. Ah, thanks. Oh, is it Duolingo? I haven't used the app, but little Steve was Duo the owl for Halloween. Okay, we're gonna get a little bit more of that red. Let's shift that down just a bit. There we go. So the nice thing about gouache is that you can layer it, which means that despite the fact that we're putting down all this red now, especially if we're using that permanent white. Oh, I'm so glad. It's so fun. Duolingo is what you use. What are you, what's the language you're learning, Dee? And honestly, we could probably use a bigger brush too, but this one's already saturated, so I'm just rolling with it. So once we get all these colors done, then we're gonna get a little bit braver with our pigment and we're gonna go just a bit darker. I kind of feel like I want to stream until this apple is done. Make it a good stream since we'll be gone for just a little bit. Oh yeah, Barbara does wonderful. Okay, so one of the key things, if you are painting on something that is not watercolor paper, right now this apple is pretty wet and I don't want to add more layers until it's dry. Can't do French sounds. Until it's dry. So using the heat gun, I like to dry it in between. The page will curl a little bit or it gets a little crimpy. What you can do, and actually this was something that Barbara taught me, is you can put your iron on its lowest setting, put a piece of paper, like a piece of computer paper over the top, and you can actually iron your page. Okay, so that feels pretty dry. Didn't need to do that for too long. So we're actually gonna switch brushes now, and I am gonna go into, this one I've been using a lot. I've actually been using this one mostly on that book one. Spanish Sounds, took Spanish for 3 years and from South Florida. Oh, there you go. So this is a 0, and this again is that Da Vinci Cosmetop one. So I find that the more that I have to work my brush into paint that is kind of semi-dry, the earlier it gets frayed. So I try not to like mash my paintbrush on the hard pigment too often. So we sprayed a little. I should get a water dropper so I can drop drops of water. Anyway, but in the meantime, I just use a little spray bottle with some water. So I don't want to go too heavy on this second layer, but there's a fair amount there. So now we are going to start with a little bit more bold lines. And not all of them have to be connected. Trying to go right up to that butterfly. Just remember, we're still going to be adding shadow, different colors of red, so there's going to be a lot more texture on this apple. So, given everything that has been going on in the world lately, even just all the news that's coming out of Texas, you know, it's very distressing, and I have to limit myself online, especially if it's a situation in which I can do nothing to help, and all I'm doing is, you know, giving me anxiety about it. I like to switch it up. And one of the things that I've been doing lately, because Star Trek is my happy place, is I've been going through Star Trek Voyager again. I love that show so much. If you are a Star Trek fan, which Star Trek series is your favorite? You can include the original Star Trek as well. So there's the original Star Trek, Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, Enterprise, and then they've got some other ones like there's Picard and Discovery. I haven't watched those enough since we temporarily have Paramount while I'm going through the series. I'll probably watch them because I decided to gift myself, it's only like $12.99 for the month without ads, and I'm like, you know what? I will spend the $12.99 and give myself some watching material for the next month. Voyager and Strange New Worlds, Next Generation. Oh my gosh. Yes, I love K-dramas so much. I watch them all the time. Granted, my husband's Korean, but still. Next Gen, the original. Yeah, those R's can roll, exactly. Right, Kenny? I know it. There's a woman that I follow. Oh, got that one out of line. Mainly because I follow for the dogs. I swear half the accounts I follow on social media are all just dog accounts. Anyway, but they recently had a baby and they are a blended, well, not blended, they're blended is when you have like kids and then the kids from a previous marriage. No, it's not blended. It's anyway, the baby is basically bilingual, and it's just so fascinating to me because the baby's not that old yet, and she still kind of babbles, but it's like her parents know her so well. They can tell when she is speaking, I want to say the family's Japanese, but when she's speaking Japanese versus English, and it's just like, oh my gosh, it's so good. A lot of gasps. Wait, you never got into it? Oh, Sadness was the original Star Trek queen. We watch every episode. Oh my gosh, Kim, I love that so much. Taught my twins sign when they were itty babies. We did a lot of like the basic signs and everything, you know, like more and please, and they use them. It was really handy to communicate. Okay, so as much as I wish I could do like strokes all the way across, we have this bench we got to get around. So I'm actually gonna, like in these areas here, I'm actually just gonna fill it in with red, because we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna be adding a lot more layers by the time we're done with this. So I'm just going to lightly fill in the space. Again, if I go over the lines a little bit, doesn't really matter, because with gouache, the way it layers, if you're doing watercolor, it might matter a bit more. But with gouache, you can layer on top of stuff. So that is what we're doing. Next Generation girly. I really was for the longest time, but yeah, in this like needing to escape everything going on, I was like, nah, we're gonna do Voyager. Okay, I'm gonna turn the book, so I apologize in advance, but my right hand, well, I'm right-handed, so it's easier for me to do easier flicks rather than trying to, anyway, this is just easier. So yeah, we're going upside down for a sec. Over the years, because I have tremors, they're not always all that bad, but I've just gotten used to adjusting for it using whichever hand position feels most comfortable. When I told some of you this story before, but at one point I went to a neurologist to figure out, like, okay, well, why do I have a tremor? You know, they were testing a bunch of other things. And it was funny because one of the ways that he tests is by giving you a clipboard with a sheet of paper, and he asks you to draw a spiral. And the first time I did the test, without realizing it, because I have learned how to hold my hands to make it to where I don't, you know, like I'm compensating for it. And so I automatically went into that mode of, you know, holding my wrist tighter, and like there's just a way where you can kind of tense up and you make it work a little bit more. But that wasn't the point. The point, well, I flipped the book, yep. The point of it was to measure to see what position my hand needs to be in for when it shakes. And so I did it the first time, and I did it too well because I was trying too hard without realizing it. So he took the clipboard from me, took the paper off, put a new paper. He's like, all right, let's do that again, but this time, don't try as hard. Yeah, I can zoom. And hi, Yvonne, how are you? And I was like, oh, okay. So then I did it. And then that's how he discovered that it was a positional essential tremor, because when I did the circle, my wiggly lines were only at like 2 and 8. And they would consistently wiggle. And then he's like, okay, well, now we know what kind of tremor you have. And I was like, oh, okay. Not that there was anything we could really do about it, short of just some sort of medication with it, but it at least put a name. And isn't that what we want a lot of times? Because it's nothing more frustrating when you get test results back and they're like, well, everything's normal. It's like, if everything's normal, I'd be normal. But to at least have a name for things makes it so much easier. Well, not easier, but validating, I guess. Maybe that's what I'm looking for. I don't know. I was kind of freaking out a little bit this morning. You guys remember when I told you I had that spot in my vision? It came back again this morning. But last time it happened, it didn't last more than 24 hours. And it only lasted a couple hours this morning. I mean, it's not a good sign that it's happening again, but of the things they told me to watch out for, if it goes away, it's when it doesn't go away that I have to be concerned. It happened this morning, and I was just like, look, I cannot be rushing to the eye doctor before we go on our trip. I don't want to deal with this. So I had to give my eye a firm talking to, and I was like, look, eyeball, pull your stuff together because I want to enjoy my vacation. And I guess it worked, because it was... His work, his, like I said, I don't really, do I see it right now? No, I don't really see it now. It was clear as day this morning, but it's kind of nice because I got a second look at it, so I feel like I can describe it to the doctor a little bit more. I just wish I knew, like, what triggered it, like pressure in the air or something, but I have no idea. Right, Shannon? It's like, look, I want to enjoy life. Not because basically what the new doctor told me was essentially like, okay, well, if XYZ happens, then this is what they'll do. So really all it would come down to, like, if it happened and it didn't go away, I would have to go see my ophthalmologist. They'd put me on a steroid to minimize the swelling, and then we would discuss options for removal. And I'm like, I want vacation. I don't want to be getting eye surgery in August or July, whatever. I'm not doing it. I refuse. All right, right now it just looks very stripy. No, that's good. I'm glad you're here. All right, so now that we have most of our stripes in, I want to start doing something a little bit more broad, and we're actually going to use this one here. So this is that number 8 round. This is a watercolor brush. It absorbs more water, so we're going to be able to kind of go across this easier. Now, what are we filling this in with? A little bit everything. We're going to start with this kind of cooler red, more almost like magenta-y red. We're not going to go super heavy. All right, so because I'm also watching how much water I have on here, and your gouache will somewhat reactivate when you're going over it, so I'm not lingering on it for too long. I'm just kind of lightly that, and the more I linger, the more wet the page is going to get. We are definitely going to be drying this when we're done with this layer. Just kind of filling that in. All right, now we're going to bring in some of that yellow. So we have this kind of, which one, what is the name of this color? Anyway, I keep saying ochre, but I don't think that's yellow ochre. Okay, that's what it was. So yellow ochre is what we're going to use. The more orangey yellow was the permanent yellow deep. We're going to be using some of that as well. Okay, so we're going to use a little bit of the yellow ochre. Thanks. So yellow ochre, and we're going to be doing that kind of up here a bit. Not a ton. Again, this is a lot of water, so I'm trying to kind of watch my paper and make sure I'm not oversaturating it too much. I can feel that it's like at that point though, so I'm just trying to go very quick and not leave more water on the paper than is necessary. Again, when you're doing something like with a water medium that isn't necessarily watercolor paper, you have to kind of take your cues from the paper itself. I know right now that kind of looks like half and half, but trust the process. We can reactivate the gouache or watercolor palettes with water. Yes, absolutely. My body does not listen anymore. Right? I know. I've had to give mine quite a firm talking to many times. All right, you. The other thing you can do is while you're drying it, and hopefully you can understand me through the air, especially if you know that your paper is like you can see when I turn it that it's still got quite a bit of water. One of the other things you can do is turn it over and also dry the other side. No, it is. It's real good. The key to doing this, like I said, is making sure that you are drying in between. No, it's not smudging. Yeah, I've never had an issue with the ink running. For me personally, when I print things on my printer, because it's just an inkjet, it's not a laser jet, the ink will run on my own personal printed pages. But anytime I've tried to color in a or paint in a coloring book, it hasn't run. So I will count that as a win. Okay, it actually dries pretty quickly. So actually, do I have it over here? Yes, okay. So for me, I printed this image onto this paper. And so if you look, so do you see these kind of grayish lines? It's really, I think it is I have this printed super light. I can see it in person, it's hard for you to see. But do you see these just very faint gray lines? Those are standing out more because the little bit of ink that I did have on there bled a little bit. So anytime I print something like that I've drawn on the iPad and I want to paint it, I always print it super light because I don't have a laser printer. Eventually I'd like to get one, but that's not quite in the budget at the moment, but eventually, yes. Or you can get them printed like a print shop or something. Okay, so now we are going to grab our Da Vinci number 3 round again. So one of the things on here, It's a little skewed, but what I can see here is that this section here has a little bit more of a brownish shade because of where the, you know, the shadows are falling. This one here is probably going to be shaded with a little bit more black, but we're going to go in and we're going to lay down those shades real quick. So we're going to grab some of our, my Neo colors following you. I'm not, oh, it takes practice. Yes, absolutely. Oh, thanks, butterflies. So I bought watercolors online. I've not used them. Yeah, you should be able to. So the brown that we have in here is a Van Dyke brown. I'm gonna get it a little bit wet here because it's kind of dry. Okay. Now we don't want this to be super bold. This is going to be light, so I'm going to try and get a very light amount. All right. And I'm going to lay in my shadows. Now, granted, this apple is sitting in a field. It's not sitting on a counter next to the coffee pot. So we can add some of our own shadows a little bit that are going to be kind of situational. So obviously we'll have like a little bit under the windowsill, behind the leaf. And I still call this kind of the color blocking stage because we're just, once everything's dry, we're going to go in with more of the red and add more details there, but it will get layered on top of these. The new, oh, for the 50th ones? I've heard a lot about them too, that like a lot of people have been doing like reviews of them and such. Like it just happened to coincide with my birthday and I was like, yay, I finally got some Neos, but I'm like seeing a lot more with them. Eventually I'd like to get a bigger set. Probably like if I could do individual ones, more skin tones. Yeah, with the Neo colors. Practice a bit more in the smaller areas. I'm going to do it over. You know what you should do? If you have the small victories, you should practice like with one of the little ones, like the little cars, like on the next page that I'm about to do. You can totally do that. Okay, we're going to go with this brown right up under here. If we end up doing a lifted shadow from this, we'll probably do a little bit of black as well. But for now, we're just going to add in a subtle brown. We'll zoom in a little bit. A subtle brown shadow. Oh, you know what? That'd be helpful if that was in focus. Way to go, me. Much better. There we go. There we go. Okay, so let's see. We're going to do some brown here. A little bit on the doorway. Under the broom. Let's get a little bit more. Yeah, it's harder to do big areas for sure. I would most definitely start small. And even still, you could frame it with like a circle or something and then like practice a background with just that small area. A little bit more brown. Let's see, so this is gonna go here. We're not gonna do a ton of this because remember I said I wanted to use more black on this side. And part of this has to do with like the lighting of wherever I took it. Wherever I took the picture of my apple, it was just the lighting in the room. So you also, I'm following mine pretty closely, but you absolutely do not have to. Okay, we're gonna put a little bit of brown up top, up here. And again, because this isn't watercolor paper, it will reach its limit at some point. You'll notice that the paper is just slightly starting to pill. And that means that it's just getting oversaturated and you need to give that section a break. It happens. Excuse me, sorry. Yeah, my coffee's cold. Oh well. All right, so now let's dry it real quick and then we're gonna start laying in some of our darker red lines. I'm excited though. This trip is going to be great. And like I said, I'm going to bring you guys back a couple of signed copies of books. So we'll do some giveaways for that. Once I have books in hand, because, you know, what if her kids get sick or, you know, whatever else, I will let you guys know. I'll post or something when I got the books or post a picture of them or something. And then we can do a giveaway for that. We can do a giveaway for that afterwards. When we get back. All right, so now we're gonna go in with a little bit more heavy red. Oh yeah, they're great. How often do you use black? I've been using it more lately. Definitely been using it more. I used to not use it like hardly at all, but I'm getting a lot more comfortable with it. Excuse me. All right, let's go ahead and get some of this red, and we're going to start adding in our darker reds here. Okay. Again, we'll make sure that we leave space for whatever yellow we want to put on here. But with this particular apple, given that there's going to be shadows, we're not going to make that yellow stand out too much where there would be shadows. Right now, our shadows are kind of subtle, but we'll make them stand out a bit more when we're done. So right now, I'm not actually dropping all that much water on here, so I don't have to worry. I'm going quick. I'm not, if I were to just lay a wet water brush on here, then it would probably ruin it. God, what is with this frog in my throat? I can hear it catching. Past your bedtime. Oh gosh. I love Canon. I've heard good thing about Brother printers. I think I have a printer on my wish list, but I don't even know if that one's accurate anymore. But I do enjoy, I don't like HP printers all that much, but I've heard good things about Brother printers and Canons on it. But if I still have that printer on my wish list, I might have taken it off because it was like too old or something. But it might give you a good starting point to start researching them. I would mostly want to get one, especially if I would like be printing more stickers, or the laser printers are better with like making things waterproof. And so that would be my big reason for investing in one. Hi, Bibliophile, welcome. Past your bedtime. Yeah, I've been trying to go to bed earlier. We've got like a month till the kids are back in school, and I'm like, I know I'm gonna need to readjust here sooner rather than later. I don't really mind that I'm going over the broom because, again, we're gonna be layering on top of that. 3 a.m., 4 a.m. slot. Oh my gosh, Kara, you gotta get some sleep. I have a Dell laser printer that I've had at least 10 years, maybe longer. It works flawlessly. Get my ink cartridges on eBay. Oh, nice. Okay, sweet. Yeah, Dell is good too. I haven't done like too serious of researching because I know that I'm a long way off from getting that. Honestly, I think if I get myself another gadget, it's going to be like a coil binder. I think that would be cool. I was looking, if you guys missed it, if you follow Nick Filbert, he just announced, wait, it's the 11th. Shannon, when was it? July 13th that it's coming out? And if I'm not mistaken, he prints and binds his own books, right? That's why they're so, the 13th, yeah. Hi, Samantha. He prints and binds, like he manufactures his own books, right? Saturday, early morning on my side. There you go. Because I seem to remember that's why his books are more expensive, because he does that all himself. Because when it comes to like the releasing of his books, he said like email for interest, right? See, and he does that, and he puts out some really good books. I just don't know what his manufacturing costs, like the reality of them, are like. Because that's the thing. I don't want to do Amazon. If I'm ever going to do a book, I want to do quality paper. But that's the other thing, is I keep thinking, I'm like, oh, it'd be so great to do a book. And then like, there's so much, it's so involved. And it's just like, I barely have time now. When would I fit in time to illustrate 75 pages? Around $70 shipped from Etsy to US. Okay, so he is selling them on Etsy. Because that was going to be my other thing. Because if he said, you know, contact me for interest, I was going to be like, well, does he have a website or something? So maybe that's just for him to kind of gauge how many people are actually interested in it. All right, so we're going to go a little bit heavier on the red over here. I probably could have done less stripes over there since this is going to be the heavier red side. We're still just using that same red. Oh, straight from him as well. Oh, that's cool. Paper in his book is fantastic, right? Oh, his books are amazing. I mean, I probably won't get one for a little while still, but I can appreciate it. Maybe, maybe for Christmas this year. Be like, all right, Steve, this is what I want. No, I appreciate that. It just says something, though, about his fandom, that it's just like everybody is just beyond excited for his books. Lorraine for Nick Fuller. Gotcha. Well, for the other books that I have of his, I was lucky enough, and we have a lovely member of the community here. She had gotten the books for herself, and then she hadn't really been coloring, so she asked if I wanted to do. I'm like, heck yeah! And we've done a handful of color alongs with his books. No, it doesn't look like the apple yet, but we're working. We're working towards it. Again, I'm not too worried that I'm going over some of the lines. It'll all get layered on top of it. Yeah, I had this book pre-ordered, but I've just sort of put myself, you know, we've got this trip coming up and I really just want to enjoy it. So for the last couple of months, I've put myself on a, it was after the birthday, after my birthday, I put myself on a bit of a no-buy. It's not November. No-buy summer? Thanks. All right, so now what I want to do, we're gonna get a little bit of black, not a ton. Still going kind of light, and I want to add in some of our color variation here. And again, I'm making these shadows work with the environment that this apple is in. Right, yes, it's gonna be so good. Do we know how many pages? I didn't look that closely at the sneak peek, but do we know how many pages are in it? I haven't even counted how many pages were in his past ones. There's so many good books coming out this year. It's amazing. Yeah, short of the layering factor, I'm pretty much using these like I would use watercolors, so this kind of technique would translate. Okay, let's do some of that yellow ochre. 30, oh see, he only has 30 for his book. Well, and I guess these are double-sided. I believe on his Instagram. I think on his Instagram. All right, we're going to add a little bit more of this yellow ochre. After we're done with the yellow ochre, we're going to take a quick dry it break so we don't overdo it. And let's get some of this permanent yellow deep. Perfect. Thanks, Shannon. Yeah, we are getting spoiled this year. So many new books coming out. Using that yellow over here. Okay. All right, we're going to go back in with the Spectrum Red. That's what this kind of warmer red is. Okay. Actually, no, I take it back. Before we do anything else, we're going to dry this because I'm feeling it is very wet. And I do not want to overdo it. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna go, I think I wanna mix just a little bit. We're gonna zoom out for a second because I'm gonna mix a color. So we've got this Spectrum Red, but I wanna change up the color just a little bit. So we're going to grab some more of that red because we're going to use this for a little bit. So I want to make sure that it's thoroughly mixed. Okay. And we're going to grab some of this brown. Yeah, I like that. It's a little bit of just a slightly darker brown. Oh, right. Yeah. Those are the ones I've pre-ordered. Those automatically go onto my buy list. Okay. So we're going to start adding in some kind of brighter colors a bit. But yes, 100%. All of Christine's are headed my way this year. That's just a given. So we don't necessarily need to do all lines either. I'm going to start to add in some of this texture. And we can always mix more of this red if we need it. Sounds good, Alexandra. Thanks for being here. Kids have actually, you know, they're never like bad by any means, but they've been really good despite us being kind of cooped up for a little while. I've been having them slowly declutter their rooms this week, but I'm not doing it in a way where it's like super overwhelming. Each day they just do a small task. Like one day is you have to clean and organize your desk. Today's was you have to clean and organize your nightstand. And it's just like little things that could be done in like an hour so they don't get too overwhelmed. But the deal is they can't have any screen time until those chores are done. And so they usually get it all done in the morning because I tell them like a day in advance, like, hey, just FYI, this is what we're doing tomorrow. And it's so great because they don't give me any pushback or anything. And they just do the thing. Hang on, my iPad is, I need to plug it in. So it's been really nice and not all that overwhelming for them. Hang on, I'm going out of the desk here. Oh. Just reminds me what awesome kiddos we have. Okay, we're gonna shift this in here, plug this in, and boop. I have an older iPad, so the battery just doesn't last all that long. All right, there we go. Would you use this technique if striping on the color with pencils as well? Yes, the only issue with the striping on the pencils is that pencils, like you can't, once it's darker, you can't go lighter unless you add something like paint on top. So what I would do is kind of map out in your head where you want things to look and then do it accordingly. So you just wouldn't be able to layer as much. Even with Prismacolors, you're just limited to what kind of colors you can mix on top. But yes, the theory would be the same. But yeah, it's been a great way to get some summer chores done without them feeling overwhelmed. Okay, so like I said, we're just using this darker red for texture. Yeah, I like it. Starting to get some shape to it. But this is also how I can spend hours and hours on a painting and get completely lost in it because I start adding in all the teeny tiny details. The next thing you know, 3 hours has gone by. Telling me now is a good time for ads. I was like, I'm good. Okay. All right, so let's bring some down over here. It's not going to be the same texture everywhere because we're going to bring in some more of that yellow. I always find that I go into teaching mode more when I'm doing watercolors. So I've never said exactly how old they are, but primary school-ish. I suppose I can only be streaming for so many years. I can't say they're in primary school. But yeah, I never say their exact age, but young enough that I can still ask them to do their chores without pushing back. They're under 40. I like it. I like it. Oh, they are getting older though. They're growing up too fast. Little Steve is still young enough though that when he has a bad dream, you know, he wants to come crawl into our bed. Steve and I were talking about it because Steve just cannot sleep well when he's in our bed. But I was just like, you know, there's going to come a time where it will be the, you know, that will be the last time that he's in there. I'm like, I'm going to soak it up for as long as I got it. He's growing too fast. What did I mix with? I think I mixed brown. That's what it was. Wait a minute. I'm under 40. What does that mean for me? Not for long, actually. I haven't hit it yet, but freaking social media, I keep getting videos for perimenopause, and it's like, I'm 39. Stop pushing me, Instagram. Why are you doing this? Let me enjoy my last couple of years. I mean, I know it's coming. I know it's coming. We were going through some photos, and I came across some videos of Steve and I when the kids were babies. And I'm like, what were we doing having babies? We were babies ourselves, our little faces. Now here we are, chunky and old. No, I'm just kidding. True, age is just a number. Well, it sucks. That's what I'm saying, man. It's not gonna be a red and park. Friggin' social media, keep pushing it towards me. It's like, come on. I sent it to my sister who is more familiar with that stage in life. And I'm like, why is it doing this to me? Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, our coloring community has been absolutely wonderful. I find that I have preferred this over like going out and actually talking with people. If you go outside, there's people out there. I don't want a people. All right, so I'm just going to get direct, chunky and old. Yep. All right, Spectrum Red. Well, the thing of it is, like, I don't have to look too far back in my pictures. And, you know, my weight has stabilized, and part of it is the stuff that I've gone on. But I look back at, like, my pictures even just 5 years ago, and I was so immensely thin. I wasn't doing anything to drop the weight, but I didn't know at the time that I had the graves. And it's like I look back on the pictures now, and I'm like, oh, that makes so much more sense. Like, I just didn't notice it before. AARP male, oh gosh. I ain't gonna sugarcoat it, but I know why we were made to stand outside the streetlights coming. We were on the ones, right? 44 entering that stage of life, right? For stair lifts and funeral plans. Oh my gosh. I swear, sometimes the ads, like, I know that like people are like paranoid. It's like, oh, it's listening to you. No, it really is. Like one time, I am not an exerciser. Okay. Like I don't exercise. I probably should, but like even still, my eye doctor has said that it's a good thing I have a low impact life because of, you know, this thing, high impact. And next thing you know, I'm in the hospital. But anyway, I had told Steve I was in a mood to exercise. And so I had said, hey, I'm going for a run. I hadn't looked up gyms. I hadn't typed anything on. It was literally 5 minutes before. Told Steve, hey, I'm going on a run. By the time I got back from said run, Instagram was giving me gym ads. And I'm like, all I said was I'm going for a run. Like, I guess maybe it saw like, oh, look, she's going around a block. She must be running. Let's push gym stuff. And I'm like, come on. Oh, no. Yeah. See, my brain sweet. Yanamta. There you go. I got it. I have to stop for a second to think it. But anyway, yes, I'm right there with you. I worked at a retirement home for a while, and I loved hanging out with those ladies so much. Oh, gosh, Chef. Ads for hearing aids. Ah, Samantha, yes, we get the similar ads. It's like, really? Really? And if there's any men in chat, I apologize if this is going to be like too TMI, but does anybody else have their ads synced up with their cycle? I swear my Instagram ads know it better than I do. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Like, I'll get one across and then I'll have to like count on my fingers. It's like, ah, crap, that's coming up. Suck it up, man. Just suck it up. Right? It's again, I start getting those ads and then I have to count and I'm like, dang it, how does it know me better than I know me? Love the old people, right? Me too. Absolutely. So this is the part that takes a while when we start adding in a ton of the textures. So I might actually switch to a slightly larger size brush for these bigger areas. Like, it just cracks me up how accurate some of these ads are, and it's just like, really? Really? Alexa, listen. It really is. Like, yeah, I don't know. But I'll start getting ads. Maybe it's just on a schedule and it's like every 3 or 4 weeks, let's push these ads at her. And I'm like, come on. You know, instead of ads for whatever, like you could push me some chocolate ads every time around, you know, around that time. I'm cool with it. Steve usually gets a clue when I stand randomly in the kitchen and go, I want cake. But it's not necessarily I want cake, but I want a cake. An entire cake. Sorry, my finger just swelling. Take off my ring. That's the other thing, is I'm almost wondering if it's total side note, but you know, I've been filming a lot of those and I'm not really wearing my ring at all in any of those videos. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, one of these days someone's gonna wonder why. And like, part of the reason I don't wear my rings a lot these days, my fingers swell too dang much. Like even this larger one that Steve got me, like rings are just uncomfortable right now. I just need to get myself like a range of 3 different size rings. Some I wear when I'm not swelling, and then I switch out the other ones when I am. Who needs a closet of clothes? I just need a box of different size rings. Yeah. Yeah, I've been thinking about that a little bit with everything that's been going on in Kerrville, and I just cannot imagine. Okay, buddy. Shannon, have I mentioned I don't leave the house? That's what Steve and I joke about a lot of the time. Because, you know, during the summer especially, you know, he goes to work and he takes the car or whatever. I'm like, at least you never have to worry. I mean, you don't have to worry anyway because I'm not that kind of person. But also I'm like, at least you never have to worry since I don't, you know, I don't really people or leave the house like at all. The closest I ever got with needing to keep something from him and sneak around was when I brought his mom over here to visit. I had to turn off the front camera and everything. Like, I was just like, what if he, you know, he looks at the video when we pull up and he's gonna see his mom in the car. So like we pulled over a block ahead of time and I like turned the camera off so, you know, maybe he'd think there was just a glitch or something. I had to really think hard about it. We were trying to figure out, he's really, really difficult to fool. Like, he's really hard. And that was just too exhausting by itself. That, and I was trying to keep the house clean. You know, when you got kids, it's hard to keep it, you know, pristine for the mother-in-law visit. It was exhausting. Now every time I clean like a manic person, they're going to get suspicious. Honestly, I almost forgot it. I was like, oh crap, I gotta turn it off. And then Steve came home and, you know, after everything, he's just like, why do you think I have time during the day to check the camera? I'm like, I don't know, but I've been planning this for ages. I wasn't taking any chances. Paper, ring material, is important. Exactly. To make mine smaller. Hey, that works. That works. Okay, let's start adding in some white. I'm not going to do the permanent white because I mostly just want to lighten it a bit, and that works better with the zinc white. For highlights, things you want to stay white, then I use the permanent white, but the zinc white is good just for lighting. So I'm going to grab a little bit of that. That's exactly it. It would have been just my luck, and he would have looked at it that one time, and it would have spoiled the whole thing. Never mind that I actually thought that I hit the record button when he came home, but I absolutely didn't. I caught the end of it because I thought I had pushed the button. Anyway, you just have to understand, I don't have the capacity to plan that. Steve really doesn't have to worry. Thank you. Yeah, I'm having fun with it. But it was a good trip, and now we're going the other way around, and we're gonna go visit the mother-in-law, and I'll get to see my family. My brother has a farm, and they recently gotten a couple ponies, and I believe they have a baby cow. I tell you right now, one of these little, where did I put it? One of the little paintings for the thing, it's totally gonna be some farm animals. Because how fun would that be? Just have a collection of all these little mini paintings. And like last time I brought like one of those notebooks like I showed you earlier. But last time I brought those with me. But it's just they take too long. It's not practical to do some massive painting in the midst of trying to, you know, vacation and relax and whatnot. So I brought the little ones this time, and I was like, this is going to be much easier. I'm trying to decide what kind of brush I want to bring. Normally I don't do water brushes, but like I also had a fun idea that I want to do a mini, you know, we're going to be sitting on the plane for a while. I want to do a mini painting of just, you know, the plane, like the inside of the plane or whatever. And so normally I would bring these brushes, which I probably still will, but for the plane, I think I'm going to go through my water brushes and see which ones I can grab. So this is kind of lightening it a little bit, but it's going to pave the way for me to add a little bit more yellow on this side as well. So I'm going to bring washi tape with me, and then my little baggie of, I just got my hand on it, my little baggie of papers, and I'll have a little board so I can tape it on there so I don't have to like hold it. That is true. They really would. My issues, and that's why I'm practicing with the duck one. Fur and feathers. Fur and feathers are just, they are a struggle for me. So you see I got little baby ducks here. I just haven't gotten to them yet. And you can turn them into greeting cards. You're welcome. Well, I like the idea of selling like the original ones, but I think I need to clarify, like, I don't know if it would get any flack in, like, I don't think it would in this community, but from everything that I read, they were saying like there's a lot of controversy over people selling like ACEOs, and I like the idea of the small ones. I'm able to have more time to do those. So I don't know. Maybe I could sell them like as a collection of mini paintings and a couple of them. It's hard to say. That's right, Samantha. Yes, well, it wasn't me. It was little Emily. There was a little girl sitting behind us on the plane. Brave little girl, I'll tell you that much, because she brought, oh, I just hit the mic, sorry. She brought a tray of bead making and made little Emily a bracelet. Made little Emily a bracelet. And I was just like, I'm crafty, and even I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. Oh, I'm also going to bring, again, I can't just 2.5 by 3.5. Yeah, these ones, when I measured these are 2.25 by 3, I believe. So they're not technically the trading card style, because the trading card style is more like this side, where it's a little bit bigger. So those are smaller. Oh crud, what was I gonna say? Oh, right, this thing. So this thing I showed you a few weeks ago, this was that bracelet. I haven't finished this one because after we talked about it on stream, I was brainstorming with how to weave beads into it, and I realized that weaving them in as you're doing it doesn't really work, because the way that the cording works, it like wraps around it, so you don't see it. So I was thinking for a bracelet like this, when it's done, then I take thread and a needle and I weave in beads that way, so it's just like it's another string. But what I did is I did another one of these in yarn, and I made little Emily a lanyard for school next year so she can wear her school ID, and she'll have a cute little unique lanyard. But here's the thing. So my mother-in-law, she and I have a lot in common as far as our craftiness. She has a wood laser cutting machine. So I had cut myself some better cardboard pieces, but I messaged her and I showed her a picture of it. I'm like, hey, how difficult would it be to cut a wood thing like this? So, because the cardboard falls apart by the time you're done with one bracelet or one lanyard or whatever else. So we talked about the size of the wood. Oh my gosh, so many. The amount of things that I have that I do. But anyway, she's gonna cut me 2 discs, a smaller one for the bracelets and a larger one for the lanyard, and then it's gonna have the sis, but it's like 1/8 wood, but it'll be durable, so it won't fall apart anymore. Anyway, so she's gonna do that, and I'll have that when I get there. But probably too many. I probably spread myself a little too thin. I've got at least 2 crochet projects going on right now, plus 2 more on deck. The thing of it is my brain is always going, and it doesn't be quiet very often unless I'm creating. And I don't like just sitting there. I like to keep my hands busy, but I also don't like to just be on my phone all the time. And so sometimes I just want to do something with my hands. So like I have my desk crafts, my I need to sit in bed because my joints are swelling crafts, I'm going somewhere and I need to sit there for a while, but I don't need anything too big and bulky crafts. Yeah, a little bit. Aw, thanks. I probably have too many things going on. I have been working on a Lord of the Rings painting. I say working lightly because I don't work on it all that often, but it is over there on my stand, and I've got it started. I have some color down on the canvas. I just have a hard time finding the time to do it. I have, not counting that painting, I probably have like 3 paintings a work in progress. I jump all over the place depending on what I'm feeling or my mood or whatever. Kind of a hot mess. I get really distracted. Found on Etsy for those bracelet makers. I have, oh, you have it on sale. Well, see, I don't have a 3D printer or like a wood thing at all. I just told her the measurements I've wanted, or I wanted. Anyway, and so she'll do that there. I would love to get one of those someday though. Like if I ever get a craft, hang on, I'm just gonna drink some water. If I ever get like, you know, I have a whole long list. If I were to ever get to the point where I had expendable income and could just craft to my heart's content, I would want a kiln, I would want a 3D printer, and a wood laser cutter. In order, probably the wood laser cutter, then the kiln, then the 3D printer. One, because with the kiln, it's much, much more complicated, but oh my gosh, I love pottery. Also, some of you know that I'm part of a little gaming community, and they were doing giveaways for a celebration on the stream, and I won this water bottle. That's her purr emote. It's super cute. I got this sticker when I was in Oregon, and I've been holding on to it, and because it's a pretty big sticker, I was like, I don't know what to put on. And then this came in the mail, and I was like, it's perfect. I also won a little nudie sticker. Anyway, it's a really nice water bottle, though. I really like it. How easy is it to use? Because initially I asked my mother-in-law, I was like, so what kind of files does it take? Because I was just going to send her a file for it. Do Kimihimo with beads. There are a lot of YouTube videos on how to ink stitch. Oh, and hi, Irving. Change up the stitch to get the bead to be on the outside. Oh, really? Irving, are you on Instagram? Actually, I guess if I just write it down. If you have any... If you have any suggestions for specific videos, like go ahead and send them my way, because I've definitely been having fun with it. Like we had to go to somebody's house for a while, and it was one of those situations where I can't bring any big projects with me, but I also didn't want to be on my phone the whole time, so that's when I brought the lanyard stuff. Mess up with your creating. Made of foam, work better with wood, by the way, if you're not doing it handheld. The foam really grabs. See, that's the other thing, is I was trying to struggle with, because I know that the cardboard is great because it grips it, but it also wears down. So I'm having her put a 1mm wide gap, because I also want it wide enough that it can hold the yarn. SVGs, okay, cool. Yeah, because it's super fun, because when they're small like this, normally if I'm not bringing my bag for, like, if I'm not going anywhere long term, I have just like my little purse, and because this is so thin and small, I can just pop it in, and I will always have some sort of craft on hand. But yeah, I'm always doing crafty stuff, probably entirely too much, but I like doing stuff with my hands. You know, my dad's the kind of guy who he always has a project, but he does bigger projects. Like when I was younger, he built fishing boats, like commercial fishing boats. He rebuilds engines and cars. Like he's always got these big projects. And I realize just how much I'm like him. Mine's just on the smaller scale. Shannon's like, she hates it. Well, but see, that's the joy of it. So my mother-in-law, she's, do I have, what's on the bottom of it? I can't remember if it's my name or her name, so I can't really. Okay, so it's got her name on it, but she's got a little laser cut label. She did this. This is resin. That's like half a pine cone, but she did it on her lathe. It was so cool. She built a couple things like that. She's always sending fun things that she makes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so creative. Laser, I have the We Create Vision. It's enclosed. Okay. Hey, question. For those ones that burn wood, or even I guess if you're cutting other things, like, is there a smell factor, or is it one of those ones, like, do you smell burning wood or whatever else, or does it just like contain the smell because it's enclosed? Or is it one of those machines where you need to like keep it in your garage for ventilation, or... Like, I'm curious, because obviously, like, when I did polymer clay, I had a dedicated little, you know, little toaster oven for it, but I always made sure it was by the window and the windows were open. So, like, what kind of smell is there? Or I guess, are there any kind of, like, I assume that with wood burning, like, obviously there's no fumes or anything, but, like, I'm curious how strong the smell is. X-Tool D1. Sounds good, Christina. Thanks for being here. What time is it anyway? 12:16. Shannon, you're streaming after me. Are you okay if I go a little bit longer? I feel like since I'm not going to stream next week, and we're kind of on a roll with this apple. But I don't know if you had anything in particular planned this afternoon. I don't want to step over it. You do still smell it? Mine ventilates out my chimney. Oh, that's perfect. Oh, you said you weren't earlier. Am I remembering wrong? Is it Wednesdays then? I don't know. Just let me know if someone's streaming and I'll get off. I don't know where I set my schedule. I had it earlier. I was looking at it. In fact, little Emily picked it up and I was like, what are you doing? She's like, I don't know. I like schedules. And so she was just looking at it. Not soon anyway. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, hi, Patty. No, thankfully, we were talking about that earlier. So the biggest flooding that was mass reported, it was about an hour and a half away from us. And so thankfully far enough away that it wasn't an issue. So it was the Guadalupe River that flooded, and thankfully that river does not run through where we are at. And there is a river that runs through where we are at, but we also, between us and the river's pretty far away, and between us and the river, there's a floodplain. So thankfully our risk is very low. However, it was close enough that like some people that Steve works with, they had family that were affected, and so people were getting donations through for them and everything. And in fact, the local restaurants went ahead and they are alternating nights where all of the food that's purchased from them goes towards efforts for that. So thankfully we were not affected, but it was close enough that we know people that were affected. It was Friday afternoon, but if so, it'll be there. Okay, cool. But yeah, so enough that we were all kind of blown away by everything. I don't usually tell the kids when something like that happens, mostly because, one, it will make them sad, and there's just not a lot they can do about it. But little Emily, she does have a phone that we allow her to use. We're going to get some of the Spectrum Red, and it came up as like a headline, and she was very concerned. She's like, what's going on here? And so I didn't tell her the full detail. I did tell her, I'm like, don't read the article. It'll just make you sad. I didn't quite tell her the you know, good majority of it, you know, was kids at that camp. But I told her, I'm like, it was very sad. And, you know, there were a lot of people out there because it's 4th of July and they were camping, which isn't not the truth. But I just knew there was, if I had told her details, it would have just made her very sad, and there's not a whole lot she could do. However, for the restaurants that were participating in the in everything, we only usually eat out once or twice a week. Excuse me. But we did an additional one on that particular night for the restaurant we were at, so that we could help contribute to the recovery effort and all of that. Oh, absolutely. No, not all of them. I think that they're up to 160 casualties, but there's still a lot more missing. So I haven't been keeping up on it as much because, again, we've done what we can and whatnot, and it's just, I can't even imagine going through that. Okay, let's go ahead and we're gonna get some of this yellow. It's the primary yellow. It's the brighter one. The brighter one? Yeah, we'll do a little bit of a brighter one because I want it to stand out a little bit more. It's doing donations, sending a ton of supplies to both people. That's amazing. Yeah, I cannot even imagine. But I was glad that I had the information as to why our river wasn't at risk for that, because that was one of the things that little Emily was concerned about. Like, is that going to happen to us? And I was like, no, we're good here. And here are reasons X, Y, and Z why that's the case. So, okay. I want to make a little bit more of an orangey red. So we're going to grab Spectrum Red and we're going to grab some of the Permanent Yellow Deep. Yes. Yeah, that sounds about right, Connie. Yes, we were. So we're all good here. We did have some of the same rain that they had over there, not quite to the degree, but yeah, the whole thing's pretty intense. All right, so we're doing like an orangey red here. Also, we probably won't do words on stream today since we're going to be kind of streaming later. So just so we're aware. Kids are doing fine out there. I already got them squared away, but I really want to try and get this apple done. I mean, we're here. We might as well roll with it. So I'm just kind of using this orangey to kind of bring down some of these stripes. But yeah, it felt good being able to do something to help where we can. Apparently, which it was a good thing, there were so many volunteers that they started having to turn people away because there was just too many people. So that was nice. I'll say one thing for Texas. They turn out when there's stuff. It was really cool. Our local grocery store down here, HEB, they're basically our disaster relief system. They sent truck after truck after truck down there to help get things squared away. A little bit, yeah. So really what I'm doing now is I'm going in with some of this kind of orangey color, and I'm just kind of adding variations in colors. I feel like we still need to add some more shadow and stuff, but we're getting there. It's just building up a lot. Okay, let's see. We need to do a little bit more red down here. Thank you. Yeah, we were all pretty glued to the news those last couple of days. Okay. I am really looking forward to it. And I'll be posting some pictures and stuff when we're gone. We do have somebody that's going to be here taking care as I worry about our older kitty. Heck, I get worried when she sleeps too deep. I'm like, kitty, you good? Like, she was having a heck of a dream yesterday. I was checking on her and like I put my hand under her head to try and like lift it up, but it was like all floppy and I'm like, oh no, but nope, she was just having a heck of a dream. In fact, when she woke up finally, she was startled and nothing else, just seemed annoyed with me for disturbing her slumber. Like, you know, on Aladdin with the big sand tiger thing. He's like, who disturbs my slumber? And that was her. She's like, woman, I'm old, leave me alone. It's like, all right, that's fair. So I'm just kind of switching around with the reds and the oranges and everything just to kind of get the flow of how I want with the colors. Like this over here should be a bit more red. Like I said, I'm using the number 3 Da Vinci Cosmetop. That's fair, Kenny. That's fair. Okay. All right, almost got it. Sounds good, Ev. Thank you for being here. You have been very much missed. Hopefully I'll see you in a couple weeks. If anybody's headed out, don't forget on the 1st I'll be back. And if all goes according to plan, I'll have a signed book from Rachel Reinert to give away on stream that day. Okay, so let's see. I want to add a bit more shadow. Thank you. We're going to grab some of that kind of brownish red that we made earlier. And I want to... the brush, kind of blend that out just a little bit. Bye, Lisa. Thanks for being here. I was posting reels. That is true. That is true. Yeah. If we were preoccupied with that, I probably would not have been actively posting. Well, I've got the other ones scheduled, so there'll be one that comes out on the 13th, one's on the 17th, and then what I'm going to be working on for the next couple of days is getting stuff filmed for the additional, because I still want content to come out while we are gone. I'm going to see if I can do that embroidery thing. I might do a test one first before I actually do it in the book. Yeah, I like those shadows. It's coming out nice. Going on tangent. Has anyone tried watercolor ground? Wait, what's watercolor ground? Now I'm curious. Is it like I follow a woman who makes like earthen watercolors. Is that what you mean? Bye. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I like that. Like there's a, hang on. I got a little booklet here that they were selling. If I ever get the stuff to make my own watercolors, where did my paintbrush go? Yeah, rolled off on the ground. There we go. Oh, gesso for watercolors. Okay, I was gonna say she turns plants into watercolor. So it talks all about making your own watercolors, pH when it comes to watercolors. Like it's this whole how-to book. So one of these days, add it to my mini crafts, right? It's great. I want to go ahead and attempt that, but again, add it to my mini crafts. Supposed to turn any surface into a watercolor friendly surface. Oh, that's cool. That's real cool. Yeah, because one of the things I learned when I was doing fluid art, especially if I did a pour on a wood panel, eventually the wood would absorb, because I didn't seal it beforehand. Obviously, I learned better later. But because I didn't seal it, it absorbed the moisture from the paint. And the longer, you know, like obviously it dried and everything, but you know, a month or so down the line, I would notice that the wood was warping because of that. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes a difference. So yeah, I learned that one the hard way. So we're just adding our shadows around here, and we haven't added any of the highlights on the apple yet. And if I were to get to the point where we're doing the rest of it too, I would adjust the shadows on the apple. So I'm adding that kind of brownish red, and then I'm smoothing out the edges just a bit. That's why it's nice when you have a paint that reactivates. We're going to mix some more of that brownish red up. Oh, dear God. Well, I suppose she's not mowing that for a while. Oh, that's the other thing. We need to do yard work before we go. Our front is just desperate for it. Pondering on a giant watercolor mix chart on the bristle. Ooh, that could be cool. Nice little shadow there. Okay, I want to do that under the butterfly as well. In fact, let's go a little bit darker. Let's add a little bit of black to that red, just a tiny bit. A little bit of black goes a long way. And actually, let's switch brushes to the 0. Okay. So we're actually gonna go ahead. Wait, I need to dry this because I keep putting my hand in wet stuff. But you can see how building this up over time really helps. Connie. Yeah, because I still want to put the yellow speckles on it, so it's definitely not done yet. I mean, you know me, I could spend hours on this. There we go. Kind of following the shape of the wings here. It's like almost like a muted raspberry color. I'm telling you, if the illustration doesn't work out, I just need to get hired by a pencil company to name their pencils for them. I could do that. There we go, smooth that edge. All right, so now what I want to do, we're going to get a little bit of our permanent white. Zoom out for a little bit while I mix this. Okay, so permanent white. And I'm using the permanent white because I want it to stay on top of it. And then we're going to get the, let's get the permanent yellow deep. Okay. All right, dry that off because that one holds a lot of water, which is good, but all right. Now we'll see how well it stays because if it's too watered down, it won't show up all that well. So we are going to add just a few streaks, and I think I want to make it more. Add some more of that permanent. There we go, just a little bit of the permanent yellow deep, a little bit more. There we go. Actually, hang on. Okay, so you see on here, it's hard to bring. You see how it's got the speckles, but around the speckles, there's just a little bit of the red. We're gonna make sure we include that as well. So we're gonna grab just the regular spectrum red. Thin that out just a little bit. It doesn't need to stand out a ton. Okay. So we're gonna add some larger red spots. Now because we're doing red, that's another reason why it's important to use the permanent white rather than the zinc white, because the zinc white really absorbs the red, like a lot. Go all the way up to that line there, because that's the other thing is like with more time, you know, that you have for detail, you can go up and make sure the black lines are covering everything. Name color pencils, but I could see you and Shannon come. Oh, right? Yes, absolutely. Oh, hang on, guys. Steve is calling me. 1 second. He was calling to see how stream went. Like, still going. In his defense, I'm usually done by now, so, you know, can't fault him for that. Especially since he just interested in what I'm doing, and I appreciate that. But I was like, uh-oh, what's wrong? All right, I'm going up over just because I want to cover up these lines a bit. Right? No, he is super sweet. That's another thing. We haven't really done, you know, we went and saw, you know, our friends when he went back and graduated and everything, but we haven't gone on a family vacation since last summer, and we are all feeling it. It has just been, there was a lot that happened during the school year last year, a lot that happened in general. This is going to be, I think my only regret is that we won't be able to do it longer. If we're up to little Steve, we'd stay there for like an entire month, but can you imagine the cost? The cost alone. And we're going to plan a little bit better for food this year because we're going to get a lot more groceries, and we're not necessarily, you know, we're not big out eaters anyway. So we're going to cook at where we're staying, and I will be spending so much time at the beach. It's going to be great. I plan to come back with more seashells, although I might check them this time, just pack them really carefully. Maybe I'll bring like a box with me or something, because security got a little sus as to why I was bringing a bag through that looked like a bunch of broken glass. No joke. I saw it on the x-ray when it was going through, and it just looked like this white block with all of these like jagged things sticking out from it. And I'm like, I swear it's just shells. And they pulled it out. They're like, ah, okay, yeah, that makes more sense. So I was telling them about the project I was going to do with them and everything. And they're like, ah, okay, so. Oh my gosh, Callie. Of everyone in this family, so I'm turning this to the line. Of everyone in this family, I absolutely need to do the sunblock. I am not getting burnt, like, at all. I need to get myself one of those long, like, full-length swimsuit covers. Although, you know what's funny? My mother-in-law, I had a swimsuit on my personal wish list, and she got that for me for my birthday. But for various reasons, off and on, I haven't had a chance to wear it yet. And I'm like, well, I guess going to the beach is a good time to do that. Okay. A little bit more red. We're going to get our spots on because they kind of go all over. But I'm also going to bring a bucket this time around when I go beach combing. We tried to do it a couple of times when we were there last time, get up early, but it's like we were so tired from everything, like I just could not. But we're going to be closer to the beach this time, so Steve has promised to come with me for excuse me, we've got the, the tide charts and everything, so he's going to come with me for a little seashell hunting on the beach. Oh, absolutely. No, Callie, I get so burnt. I still have tan lines from that time that I was painting in the river and forgot to put sunblock on my thighs because I was originally wearing shorts. I really wasn't planning on. And then, I had my suit underneath and I went and sat in the river, and yeah. Long story short, that was probably the worst sunburn I had in a while. I'm too pale. They really were, yeah. Yeah, exactly, Callie. Yep. I can't be trusted with the sun. Me and the sun, we don't get along so well. I'm not really a big swimmer anyway, but it's important to the kids, and you're like, they, want mommy to come play and everything. So yeah, I'll do it, but you better believe I'm gonna look even more pasty than I am already with how much sunblock I'll have on me. It's pretty good. Okay, I might lighten some of these red things so it doesn't look like our apple has a rash. Absolutely. Yep. The floppier, the better. The floppier, the better. I'll also have a beanie for the cold mornings because it's the coast. And despite it being warm, it's still cold in the morning, especially if it's like cloudy and sun hasn't come up yet. Yeah. I will be covering up completely. Okay, so I'm just smoothing out the edges on these red spots here. There we go. Okay, so now let's go in with some of that. Let's add some more. Here, I can zoom out while I'm mixing it. We're going to add some more of the permanent white to it. Yeah, sunglasses, floppy hats. I just need to get Steve to remind me to do the sunblock on my feet as well. That's one spot I always forget. Okay. So now we're going to start adding in. That should lighten a little bit, but if it doesn't, then we'll thin it out. Again, that's one nice thing about the paint when it reactivates, is that if it ends up being too bright of a dot, then I can lessen it. It's kind of like, have you ever seen people like get henna done and it's really dark and everything when they initially do it, and then by the time it, you know, you wash it off or whatever, it's just light. It's kind of like that. So even though this looks bright white and really standing out, hopefully by the time it dries it'll be a little bit less, and if it's not, then we can lighten it ourselves. So we're gonna add a few of these here, but that's the joy of the permanent white, is that the color will sit on top a little bit better. Oh yeah, absolutely. Those are the ones I put Steve in charge of. Like, can you get my back, please? See you then, Linda. Thanks for being here. But I am really excited to go meet up with Rachel. We had talked about it briefly after the fact last summer, and so she's like, oh, well, if you come again, let's meet up. And I'm like, heck yeah. So I let her know when we were going, and so that'll be cool. Oh, fun. That'll be a good trip. I've never been there, but my parents have. Okay. I'm fine with that for now. I'm gonna let it dry. Actually, we'll just dry it with this, and then because I do want to lift it. If it were exactly how it is now, that's too bright. So I'm gonna lift it a little bit, and then we're gonna add some highlights. We're getting close to it almost being done. And again, once I get everything else done on it, I'll add more to it or take away or whatever else. Okay, so we're gonna lift those just a little bit. Let's grab our number 3, just some water. But that can just show you how well the permanent white works versus the zinc. So I always keep both in my palette for various reasons. So we're just smoothing that just a bit. Okay. All right, so now let's go ahead and dry that. Leaves off my aloe vera plant, and slice off part, keep the gel parts in. Yes, I've heard that some people eat them too, like they peel it. I can never get on board with that, but more power to them. Okay, so now we're gonna grab some of our zinc white because I wanna add just a little bit of reflection, not a ton. We'll use the permanent white when we do like the main highlight of the apple, but a fair amount of water. We are gonna lighten this just a bit. Just kind of soften the edge. We're going over some of those spots we already placed. It's pretty wet right there, so it's kind of flowing across it, but that's okay. If I want to keep one, absolutely. Okay. Don't want to lose all that texture we put at the edge, so when I'm smoothing out the edge of this white, I'm just sort of dabbing it there. I don't know, it's easier to see like in person here. Yeah. Just trying to figure out the brightness level here. Okay, let's see. Let's get some of that red, that darker shadow red again. Yeah, I'm glad we did the apple together today. I wanted this to be, like I said, it's been so kind of all over the place. I was like, look, if I'm gonna be here, I want to be here. So I figure we'll do one together. Okay, so I'm not going right up against the leaf because it's not like laying directly on it. Let's get a little bit of the black. Just a bit. Yeah, I like that. A little bit more black. Yeah, I had an aloe vera plant that eventually flowered too. That was cool. Okay, let's see. Let's add some more. We're adding in our more kind of dynamic shadows now. Yes, that's black, but we're going to blend it out. I'll probably refine this area behind the bench when we get a little bit closer. Let's add a little bit over here. There we go. Yeah, that's what we had for the kids. Okay, let's see, we're gonna do a little bit here. Smoothing out those edges. Okay. Ah, thanks, Kim. Okay, let's get some more black here. We're gonna go under the butterfly. But I'm not going right up next to it. I'm gonna leave a little bit of space. Smooth out the lines. We're going to bring it away from the butterfly. Most of the time it won't be this dramatic of a shadow anyway if there were an actual butterfly there, but I kind of like having the dramatic on artwork, you know? There we go. Okay, we're going to do a little bit under that leaf over here. Okay, we're going to do some on that overhang. We put a little brown there, but now that we're going with those dramatic shadows, I want to include that under here. There we go. This one won't have as much. We'll put just a little bit, but it's higher up here, so it's not going to have all that much shadow. There we go. Okay, we'll put a little bit on this window just so that everything stays cohesive. Cute mouse. There we go. At one point in my life, I owned a pet rat. That was an interesting experience. My mom has a massive fear of, she doesn't like mice, but she's even more afraid of rats. So whenever she had come over to my apartment, when it was that I had that, to cover the little enclosure with a towel so she couldn't see it. I'm liking how that's looking, but it also needs its highlight. So we're gonna grab some of the zinc. Okay, so on our highlight here, just a little smudge. Obviously, it depends on where the light is coming from. That smudge would be about here. I want it to stand out a little bit more, so we are going to put it here. Now, with the zinc, it's going to absorb some of that water or some of the color, so it's actually going to look a little bit more pink. So we're using the zinc as kind of like our base highlight. We're going to spread it out because we want it to be softer. So I cleaned my brush, dried it, and I'm just using it to kind of lift some of that and soften the edges. So it's just going to be like a lighter area. A bit more. Now we can take some of that. Yeah, looking back, I had also been taking care of one of my exes. He had a tarantula. Yeah, I did not enjoy tending to that one. Thankfully, it was just a temporary situation, but I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good, bruh. All right, we're going to dry this, and then we're going to soften the edge of that highlight just a bit more. So no guinea pigs or hamsters? Okay. Get a little bit more of that zinc. Got this kind of line here. I'm going to use that as sort of a guideline. Again, this is all going to be kind of subtle highlights. Gerbils, they have tails, right? That's the difference between them and hamsters, is that the gerbils have tails. I've had hamsters before. Guinea pigs, fish, bird, cat, rabbit. I've had a lot of pets. Let's grab a little bit more of a highlight on the, not too much, but just on the left side, just a little bit. Like there's just a slight... Oh no, I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. Okay, am I happy with that? I feel like I'm at the stage where I'd be like, okay, it's time to step away from it. I'm gonna work on the other elements of the page and then come back to it. So I think that's probably a good place to call the page for now. Like I said, this isn't going to be like a full color along by any means because I'm going to be gone for a couple weeks. Again, the next stream will be on the 1st. As far as the quilt squares, I am going to update the pictures on the website. I'm hoping to do that this week. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with how that turned out. Looks like an apple, right? But yeah, so... There's a watercolor, or not watercolor, a gouache, a painted apple. A painted apple. But, okay, any other parting announcements? I don't think so. Again, if you are someone who has a lot of points and are struggling with figuring out how to redeem them, or for whatever reason your computer isn't letting you, go ahead and email me, because since we have a limited number of squares left, I want to say 13 or 14, it'll say on the redemption area. Anyway, I want to make sure those that did want to get a square in, even if you don't have enough for charms, you just want to make sure that you can grab your spot on the quilt. Because even when we're out of squares, I may let it go for a little bit longer to give people more time to add their charms. But we are at the stage where we are almost-ish out of squares, so let me know for that. Next stream will be on the 1st. If everything goes well, I'll have 2 signed books from Rachel Reinert to give away for that. But yeah. Thanks everyone. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It is much needed. Much needed. Possibly. So I find some cool inspirational shells. I've still got that other one that it's all cockamamie. Oh, look at that, all the chat on the there you go. The thing, it was like catching up all crazy. Anyway, I still got that one back there, but yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna do the festival, so we'll have a couple new things from that, but I want to get that book Fairy House one done too, so we may sell the original, make some prints. We shall see. Anyway, oh, I'm so glad, Kim. All right, everyone, well, I'm gonna head out. Thanks for being here. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Please stay safe, keep being awesome, and I'll chat with you all later. All right, bye.